Welcome back, everyone, to Claws of the Tyrant, the funny campaign. I promise, nothing goes wrong in this story. Everyone's having a great time. I am in no way traumatizing you guys as of yet. Isn't that right?
As of
My
yet.
mentor's blood is on my face.
And you're having a good time with it there.
As a player, yes.
As a quick little recap for where we left off, we are, of course, in the first adventure of this anthology series still. And last session, we began to get to know our heroes? Question mark?
Some of them are.
Survivors is a good term, I think, for this little adventure, as you all have been hiding out in this crypt, a group of right around 20 people for 6 long years, doing your best to pass the days in peace and quiet so as to avoid alerting the undead that have overrun the town up above. Unfortunately, all come to change when the sort of leader of the group, spiritual or otherwise, passed away in her sleep last night, Dame Talia Gildar, leaving everyone a bit shell-shocked, uncertain of what to do, and doing their best to come to terms with the situation. Today, you have re-met all of the other people down here. Allie, your mic is picking up a lot right now. Just felt like mentioning. I apologize.
No, thank you for letting me know.
Yeah, I try. Meeting, of course, with the various different people and helping out in some ways. Helping to create the epitaph of Dame Talia's coffin, helping to prepare the body a small amount and offer your own prayers and goodbyes, helping Gurag Sunbrand and Marco Blightender to shore up one of the crumbling walls a bit that Dame Talia had put such emphasis on recently, needing to be repaired ASAP. And of course, helping the querulous quartet to compose a funeral dirge and perform it. Each of you going about the day, doing your best during this time, and having a small scare when Retsnov, the youngest child of the Brushpaw family of Kitsune Rangers, decided to morph back into their human form for the first time in about 5.5 years and try and open the door to take a look outside with no oversight, of course, making quite a lot of noise and letting light leak out in the process, which earned the panic of people in these heightened tensions and quite a heavy scolding in that situation. But the day continued from there and brought you all to the funeral of Dame Talia, where Constan, Russi, the sole cleric of Iomade who has been capable of magically providing food and water these 6 years you've been down here, was giving a speech when Dame Talia arose as undead, a quite rapid transformation that I believe you guys discovered was certainly out of the ordinary for how zombie rot should normally progress. She tore out the throat of Constan, killing him and subsequently infecting him, before landing a pretty powerful blow on Suri, but thankfully being stopped and destroyed before she could cause any more damage. And though it hurt many of you, You also destroyed the body of Constan Russi, noticing that it was very rapidly transforming into a zombie as well, and if you did not do anything, it was likely going to transform and re-rise. That is basically where we ended off. Most everyone else in the crypt has adjourned near the entrance and to the sort of antechamber that has always been used as like a communal meeting area for you guys, and are currently catching their breath from the panic, but not calming down. Instead, beginning to argue about what the next steps are. You guys don't have access to consistent food anymore, so ostensibly staying down here is going to be quite the challenge to continue. And amidst that, I believe Ira decided none of this was really worth her time anymore. You're all going to die anyways, so as well greet death with a smile, and was walking towards the door.
Specifically, what Ira was going for was she specifically said, "I'm not dying down here," because she like instantly understood the implications of
Fair.
the cleric being dead, and she's just like, "Fuck it, I'll take my chances."
Fair enough. We have Suri and Skulkstick both still taking a few moments to grieve the loss of two such important figures, both to the community in a providing sense, but also in the spiritual and emotional sense. And we have Mattis, who has something he must do, noting that a job he was given long ago by Constan that he would only do in the case of Constan's demise now needed doing, taking a key from around Constan's neck that none of you had seen before and heading off towards his quarters. And that is where we are picking back up. Allie, I'm so sorry. Your mic is continuing to pick things up.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
Nothing you need to be sorry for. I assume Discord just fucked with your settings.
No, I went back and fixed all the settings. I don't know.
Interesting.
I'll go to push to talk. I'm sorry.
Okay. She slowly fades out. So, that is where we are picking back up. Of course, none of you have any sense of time outside, but it is late evening, early night by the sort of cycles people tend to go with for waking and sleeping down here. It has been quite the long day, but there are still things that need doing and decisions that need making. So I'm actually going to start with Suri and Skulkstick. What are the two of you going to do?
I don't know.
I didn't think I'd call on you that fast, did you?
Correct.
Got him.
Yeah, I think Suri is going to be shell-shocked for a little bit.
Okay.
I mean, she was starting to realize what this means. Ira immediately went to put together that there goes our only food source. Like the time in the crypt is over one way or another, and for Suri it takes a while. She's more like struggling with having lost a friend and moral compass, and she just kind of like staggers through the crypt, looking at the others. I would imagine that she hears the conversations that people are having kind of muffled and doesn't really stick out to her. Everything's behind like some sort of haze, and she eventually finds herself in that antechamber right in front of that door that's barred that she just a little while ago helped lock up again, and she just stares at it with the noise of everyone around her probably slowly starting to panic in the background.
Oh, absolutely. There's shouting happening, which in saner times, everyone here would recognize is a big no-no. We even had an exact example of that just a few hours ago of why you shouldn't be shouting, because it is going to attract the undead. But sanity is long gone from the equation for these people right now, and they are only focused on effectively arguing about what to do next. But of course, as you mentioned, that's all sort of just white noise right now to Suri.
Skulk is probably going to start going towards the rest of the group that is freaking out. Kind of just, again, going and taking their place, hiding behind the statue once again.
Yeah, you join
So
the
they're
opposite
little-
side of statue to, not Yono, actually. Yono is on the opposite side of the statue right now, but he's just sort of like sitting proudly, coldly gazing at the arguments going on. The hardest thing about having Kitsune constantly in fox form is it's hard to read their expressions.
Yeah.
But you can see, like, his mate Yuluva, the children Retsnov and Retsnav, are sort of like running around, tapping on people's ankles, even doing like small bites here and there, trying to get people to quiet down a bit, and it's just not working.
Okay. Would I be able to try and get people to just stop for a second using Goblin Song?
Go ahead and put Goblin Song in chat for me, please.
Sure, one moment.
Okay.
Never mind, I see it only affects one person.
It is only one person. We did sort of allow that to be a bit wishy-washy earlier when you were using it with the funeral dirge. I think I'm going to say in this circumstance, though, you could certainly try to sing
Just
and get people's
kinda-
attentions that way, but Skulk would
Yeah.
probably recognize, one, you'd have to be louder than people are being right now to get their
Yeah.
attention. Two, people probably don't want to hear music right now. Even Cled and Dicky
It's
have their
more
instruments
of
put away.
Me being, it's more of they're gonna try and be loud and obnoxious to get people to shut up because they're gonna try and calm people down.
You can certainly do that if you would like.
Okay.
I will ask you to go ahead and give me a performance check if that is the case.
God damn it.
Well,
Doesn't work too great.
yeah, as you begin to try and break out in song, taking advantage, you've come to learn on just through trial and error that this little corner you're in is great for acoustics and amplifying sound. But as you begin to sing, what normally would get people's attention, if only in frustration, is simply causing the people to get louder, to drown out the sound of your singing and continue arguing.
Oh boy. Okay.
Hearing Skulkstick doing this, can Ira pop in at this point?
Sure, yeah. I was about to pivot over to you. What would Ira like to do?
Yeah, hearing Skulkstick try and get people's attention and realize that it's not working for her. Ira has kind of just been packing up what little belongings she has because she is fully intending to just get the hell out of here.
Mm-hmm.
But seeing that people are freaking out, screaming, yelling, and Skulkstick's efforts aren't working, then Ira, at first she goes for her wand to maybe throw more magic, but then she remembers how, was it Suri? Yeah, how Suri reacted to the magic, and refrains from doing so, and instead, blows her signal whistle.
Fantastic.
And once she gets everybody's attention, just real quick, was Skulkstick going to try to say something after they got everybody's attention, or?
Basically, it was going to be a please be quiet. We
Okay.
can't draw their attention again.
Yeah. In that case, Ira will blow the signal whistle and then, shout out something to the effect of, "Things have already gone to shit. If you keep shouting like this, it's going to go to shit even further. Now, we have a chance to get out of here. We can pack up all our shit and try to get out of here. But in order to do that, we need to not draw them immediately, so please shut up." Do you like me to roll anything?
I am thinking on that for half a moment. I think I would like a diplomacy check from you here. I'm
Yeah,
not going to do a set DC for this. It's more so going to be a bit of a gradient.
Okay. Public?
Yes.
Hmm?
Me realizing I
I
drank
mean-
the majority of my water before we even started. Oops.
It can only get better. Okay.
Okay. As you blow the whistle, it's a loud sound. It's meant to carry, which is probably a reason you've never blown it down here before because
Yeah.
of that. But, you know, if there's already 9 sticks of dynamite in a pile, what's adding a 10th really gonna do?
Yeah.
So you blow the whistle, and it is loud enough that it gets a lot of the smaller arguments to sort of quiet down for a moment. You actually notice during this time that while some of the people, Elizo, Rockvel, Crassian, Garag, all of them are directly arguing, Herdaw is actually just crying. And like Bicky, Kleb, Marco, and Istolo are all consoling her right now. I think Crassian is going to be the one to respond to you here, Ira. Well, you're right. We're already up shit creek at this point. Undead are probably coming to bust these doors down as we speak. So, what's your plan then?
I mean, at this point, Suri's like the words start to actually have meaning to her at some point, and she hears the conversations, and then Ira says, "We got to get out of here." And then finally, Cressian, "What's your plan then?" And Suri gets up from, or was leaning against the wall, and she pushes herself off and walks to the middle of the room, looks around, and says, "We got to move. We got to move quietly. We got to move quickly. But we have to get out of here."
Ira will nod. Say, "Grab all of your things. Grab a weapon, any weapon, even if it's a fucking frying pan, even if it's a fucking rock. Grab it. Move up those stairs. Quietly. Just as the, girl over here said."
Suri nods to Ira and looks at everyone intently, and then runs off or rushes off to grab her things.
Yeah. There are certainly a few nods of approval to what you guys say. But there are also a lot of people that are looking skeptical. Sir, you are welcome to give me this roll as well if you'd like. I know you just said you were running off, but if you think you would pause to take it in, by all means. But I would like a sense motive check from Ira and Stalk Stick as well if you would like to make one. And Mattis, we will get
Jericho.
to you in just a moment. Yes.
Jericho, that +2 is gonna do lots. I definitely. I forgot I have a +2 wisdom. Or
Yeah.
perception.
Yeah. Why did you delete and re-roll, Suri? Did you mean to do that?
Oh, I rolled a perception, and then I thought,
Yeah.
oh, I might as well roll the sense motive.
Just keep it
There's
as
a
the
macro
original
for it.
roll in those cases, even if it's done. Because I feel bad saying this. You went from a 20 down to a 9 by doing that.
Well, you know, if that was Suri's original role, I think we should go with that.
I was planning to honor it because you rolled even better, Ira, slightly. So it doesn't particularly matter. But as you turn away to go grab your stuff, Suri, what you and Ira catch in the faces of most people, in the light from the Everlight crystal, is distrust. And Ira, or not Ira, sorry, we'll start with Suri. Even if you were very close to Dame Talia and sort of, in a sense, almost acted like a second to her in just being there for people when they needed, Ira is still kind of widely distrusted by people and is known for having that pessimistic attitude. And Skullstick is known for providing alcohol to everyone.
Hell yeah!
That's not a good thing in this case. This group has
Skulls
managed...
doesn't know that.
Fair. The group down here has survived this long because they had reliable people in Dame Talia and Constan. Dame Talia being a crusader, someone who was well into her 70s, had those years of wisdom behind her, and Constan, who was able to reliably provide food for you guys. You all stepping up. Not the bad thing to do in this case, because absolutely someone needed to take charge of the situation. But there's a lot of people that have... It's clear in their eyes that they don't necessarily believe they can trust you in charge. You can definitely see there's also sort of conflicting views. Some people are sort of nodding along to the idea of let's all go out together. There are others you can see maybe a bit more of a cunning thought in their mind about we'll be better off, or I'll be better off just going out on my own now. I don't have a lot I need to grab. I should just go. I don't need to stick with these people. I've got better chances staying alone.
Ira doesn't really care about the people who don't trust her. She is interested in the people who are thinking about going out on their own. Is there anybody in specific who seems to be having those thoughts?
Anyone in specific? With your check, you would have specifically clocked Rockvel and Marco as well.
God damn it, Marco.
Suri, would you say you were trying to clock that as well?
Well, Suri would, as she notices people being hesitant or others like trying to make it out on their own, she would remind everyone as best as she can of, there's strength in numbers. If we go out there, we can't wait here because we're just sitting ducks. And if you just out there on your own, they'll pick us off one by one. The only chance we have to survive is to stay together. And she'll also try to echo words that I'm sure Dame Talia and the priest whose name escapes me right now.
Constan.
Yes, I'm sure they've been talking about the value of sticking together as a group and taking care of each other and those things, and she'll try to bring that up as much as she can to remind people of it.
Yeah.
Ira would like to. Sorry, just while Suri's doing that, Ira wants to do something simultaneously.
Sure.
She wants to go to the ones that are clearly thinking only about themselves, and she'll kind of whisper to them, remember, don't need to run faster than the fastest.
You-
Slowest refugee.
Your push to talk is having you cut out as you whisper. I'm so
Really?
sorry.
Oh my god. Oh no, it's fine. What Ira would say is to the people that are thinking about themselves, she'll go over to them and whisper to them, remember, you don't need to run faster than the fastest zombie, you only need to run faster than the slowest refugee.
So we've got Suri actively trying to convince people to stick together, and we've got Ira actively trying to convince these people to go off on their own.
No.
No.
She's trying to convince them, like,
Oh.
come along, because if zombies attack, you know,
We have
there's
fodder.
a meat shield.
They'll get hurt off first.
Oh
Yeah.
boy.
We're giving two ends of the motivation spectrum here.
Oh goodness.
I did. Madison actually say that.
Oh, I was thinking because I'm trying to determine how these two specifically, it's interesting for them to hear that. The suggestion of potentially abandoning, sticking together, but only because they can be abandoned to help guarantee their survival.
That's dark, man.
I never said y'all had to be
Yeah.
good people for this little adventure. I love it.
I mean, if Suri overhears anything of the sort, she'd of course push back on that. You know,
Yeah.
be like, no, the opposite is true.
Ira did
Well-
mention she was specifically trying to whisper that and keep quiet
Right.
about it. If you would like, if you think Suri would have been actively listening for something like that, I will ask for a deception
it's
check
okay.
from Ira.
It's okay. I
Okay.
would imagine that it's actually quite a busy scene with lots of.
It
going on, so
is.
it's-
Because people are even still, like, they begin to talk amongst themselves as well. People aren't just remaining quiet and listening. People are sort of generally gathering their things, but they're also still talking. And they have quieted down at this point, thankfully. But we are going to give you guys some time to chat with people, maybe on a bit more of an individual level, like what Ira just started, as well as taking into account Suri's last sort of motion to the group. Before we do that, though, I would like to pivot over to someone else. Mattis,
Hello.
as you walked away from
was-
Constan. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I was originally going to go to his room with the key, but then I sort of realized there's sort of a crisis forming here. So I was
Little
like,
bit, yeah.
I should probably get involved in that. So seeing there's a moment that everyone seems to have calmed down, I think, Mattis is not particularly a leader type person, but seeing he's like the only formal religious person here, he feels sort of a need to try and be involved.
Yeah?
So he's like, well, now everyone seems to have calmed down a bit here. We do need to discuss what to do next here. I do think leaving immediately is not wise. The nighttime, the undead have the advantage over us. We are at a great disadvantage if we try to leave it during the night. Furthermore, we don't know what the scenario is out on the surface right now. We should have a small group, Stout, for example, and see what the best route out of town would be.
Sorry, real quick. Do we know what time it is right now? Is that something we can be aware of?
Has anyone realistically been trying to keep track of time over weeks, if not months, from the last time scouts went outside?
That's yeah, hard to say.
If not, you guys just sort of have a general idea of when people go to sleep and wake up, and try to keep an internal clock like that, but with no reference. That is extremely hard to do.
Alright,
So,
well, I just think like also we've also been up for like
you guys would
a
know.
significant.
Yes,
We've
you
been up
don't
for
know.
a long time already.
You don't know whether it is night or not outside, but you do know it is quite late for you guys since you woke up this morning. And this morning was when you discovered Dame Talia's passing. Hasn't even been 24 hours yet. So most of you, even if you've got that adrenaline and panic rushing right now of we need to leave, you're all still pretty tired as well. So
Yeah.
choices are going to need to be made as to what to do here. But
Yeah, so that's basically where Matt is going. It's like, we've all been up for a long time already. It feels like it's probably late, but we could probably have someone check outside. But we need to reconnoiter the area outside to see, where the biggest density of undead are. Is there a safe route out of town? Is there, maybe could we set up checkpoints that we can ferry people to when there's a break in the undead, for example. So that's sort of like what he's trying to get at. Like, we need to take stock of what we have available to us, and we need to know what we're getting into. And it's best to go. We all need to go together because we shouldn't know. There's no food here. Anyone who stays behind will not last long.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is send a scouting team out, see what the situation is, rest up, then pull together.
Yes, I think that would be the best route. I'm going to check Constantine's room. He may have left some stuff that might give us a better idea of the best route out of Eula's Hope.
I think I'm not going to ask for a roll. I think just that wording is something that wouldn't make sense to any of you.
How do you mean? Sorry?
Saying that Constan might have a something that could provide a best route out of Yua's Hope. You guys have lived together for 6 years. No one here has secrets from one another. You guys could probably name nearly off the top of your head the extent of each person's personal effects.
What are you talking about, Mattis?
Well, Constant, he entrusted a key to me, which was something important he wanted me to do in the event of his passing. I'm not sure what it is, but perhaps it might be a key to our salvation. I do not know.
Well, a key is one thing, but where's the lock?
It's something in his room. I probably should have said that out loud in hindsight, but I am not thinking very straightly right now.
Yeah. Suri and Skulk, both of you, like when Constan's body was destroyed, you specifically saw that strange key that you hadn't actually noticed before on Constan. Silver inlaid with a red amethyst gemstones down its length. That Mattis very quickly pulled up and pulled out an identical copy of his own. And that was when he had walked off initially. I should also ask, Mattis, because of where you are, do you think you would have grabbed your equipment?
I was in the process of doing that as well.
Fantastic.
But a thing I was going to bring out that I had thought of, Dame Talia, she was just wearing like robes when she was being interred, right?
Correct. Her weapon and armor are still in her room.
Yeah. So the armor is probably not as, unless it's magical.
It is
but
not.
probably
No.
not. No. Okay. That's what.
Do you think I'm giving your level 1 ass a magic armor?
Hey.
Absolutely not.
I don't know, man. But I already knowing what our party makeup is, the armor's probably not going to help. But I do realize Suri is running around with a punch dagger. So a long sword would probably be a big upgrade from that.
She's not necessarily interested. She's not really. Hasn't practiced using a long sword or anything like that. But the key thing that's something that she's very interested in. She's like, I was wondering about that. I didn't recognize it. It's not. It isn't a holy symbol of Iomide or anything else I've ever seen in him use in his rites. Why do you have the exact same thing?
When he took me under his wing, and I became his second, he entrusted the key to me. He never explained what it was about.
Well, but do you know what it opens?
I believe there's was it like a box or a chest in his room that it opened? He told me that much, right?
That's funny.
'Cause I don't remember.
Yes. He told you that there is a redwood chest hidden in his quarters that it opens. He never told you where that chest is, though.
But in his quarters, though.
Yeah. All I know is it's somewhere in his quarters. So.
Well, then let's go find it.
All right. Oh, this falls in my way.
And Suri latches onto something that she can actually deal with. You know, it's something that is not as scary as going out into an undead wasteland.
Absolutely.
So that becomes the focus of her efforts here.
Phenomenal. So we've got Suri and Mattis stepping away, and we'll focus on you guys in a moment. I just want to confirm what Ira and Skulkstick are doing. Do you want Ira to continue talking to people and try and sort of make sure people are on the same page about things, or did you have other things you wanted to do at this point?
Ira kind of wants to see whatever this is.
Yeah.
That Mattis, like, she knows that, like, maybe she should stay here and, like, do crowd control. I'm gonna have her roll a flat check.
Okay.
Okay, she's gonna go see what's up with Mattis.
Fantastic.
She will let her curiosity get the better of her.
Well, we all know what curiosity did to the cat, so...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Skulkstick is gonna see the three of them walk away, glance around at just like seeing people were trying to like get them to like stay. I'm like, guard the door.
We're
So she's gonna kind of sit on the steps with the little belongings that they have, and just kind of plop them in the way so that it makes it a little harder for people to like just run out of the place.
Nice.
Because they will start to scream and yell for everyone to come back if anyone tries to book it.
Nice.
As you sit on the steps and Ira walks away, you hear Gurag actually So they talk up this whole game about working together and going out, and then they all just walk away. Typical.
Is this something anybody except Skulkstick would have been able to hear?
Oh, he made sure to say it loud enough that everyone would hear.
Ira will turn in that case and say, well, would you like to come see what we're looking for?
I thought
Maybe.
we were going to be having conversations. You had that look in your eyes. But if we're not, I'm going to grab my shit and I'm going to get out of here.
Ira, hearing that, will reconsider. She'll look at Mattis and Suri and just give them a nod, and then head back to the door and say, fine, conversation. Let's have a conversation.
He looks possibly more annoyed by that outcome. He just had to open his mouth. But
Which guy said that?
that was Garag, the orc.
Oh, the orc. Okay.
Yes. Mattis and Suri, as the two of you step into Constan's quarters. I mean, it's a small affair. It's not even really a separate room. It's just an ossuary that where his personal effects are set up. There's his cot, his bedroll, change of clothes, a very plain-looking chest that you know has his very few personal belongings in it. But if the two of you would like to look for this chest, you are welcome to go ahead and do so with a perception check. Uh-oh.
I don't like when you say uh-oh.
Just so you're not the most observant, Mattis.
God damn it, I have +7. Come on now.
I know. Which made the 2 really funny on the die. But that is okay. There's not a lot of space to look. And as you and Suri sort of both look in different directions down here, it only takes about a minute before Suri, you notice that there's a small pile of, small stack of bones leaning up against the wall kind of awkwardly. And when you pick a few off the top, there is a small niche in the wall hidden behind that stack of bones, and you can see a small chest within that.
Mattis,
Good.
look at this.
Good eye. Let's see what we have here.
Suri, are you trained in religion?
I am.
Yes. Okay. I was going to say, that's very confident I am. As you sort of move the bones out of the way and pull this chest out, it's not large in the slightest. It's maybe a foot square, if that. The air around it seems to be palpitating slightly, slight ripples moving through space around it. I am going to check something real quick. Fantastic. It doesn't call to mind anything as you look at that, but there's definitely something very strange afoot with this chest.
I'll pull my key out and look for the lock on it.
Yeah, there's a very clear lock on the front. You are welcome to input the key, twist, and open. The chest itself is actually quite nice. It's redwood and bound in silver. If this weren't such a dire situation, it would come to mind that that chest is probably worth a pretty penny. But as you insert the key, twist it in the lock, and lift up the lid, there is an immediate plummet in the temperature around both of you. Doesn't drop to necessarily instant freezing, but it is a very clear few degrees ratcheting downwards, where all of a sudden you're like, damn, I wish I had a coat, maybe. It's as if a cold wind blows over you. But there are two things in the chest. A piece of parchment and a jar. Seemingly made out of clay. It's top carved to resemble some strange skull, and dried blood coating the exterior of the jar.
Ooh.
It is very clearly a canopic jar.
What is this?
Can I do a recall knowledge to know what a canopic jar is?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, no necessarily recall knowledge. If I'm telling you it's a canopic jar, you are trained in medicine. When an individual is mummified, that would be the most common times for this. Canopic jars are what their organs are placed into during the mummification process.
Huh. That's a canopic jar. It's used in the process of mummification. I'll pick up that parchment and see what it says.
Yeah, absolutely. It is a letter, actually. Signed by Sir Nalith Clearwater. It reads, Constan Russi, my dear second. It is my truest regret that I burden you with this duty. However, none in you as hope are as devoted to the cause as you, and thus this task is yours and yours alone. Centuries ago, the body of our beloved mistress was stolen from its sepulchre. I'm speaking, of course, of Blessed Erasni, herald of Eredin, predecessor of the inheritor. Before ushering Erasni into eternal damnation, Geb forged 4 foul artifacts, bloodstones, within which he sealed Erasni's organs. Before you lies one such artifact, the lung bloodstone. These artifacts must be kept safe at all costs. Their possession would allow one to control the former herald as one forces a puppet to dance. We cannot allow this fate to befall her. Protect this relic. When the time is right, deliver it to the highest authority within the Knights of Ozum. If Geb or Tar-Baphon were to reunite the Bloodstones, I shudder to think what atrocities they might inflict upon Galarian. Keep the secret safe. Name a second. Mantle of Crimson Keeper might live on should you perish.
Oops.
Truest sincerities, Sir Nalith Clearwater.
Ha. Alright, so we're gonna say Constant pranked me and there's nothing here as I close the box.
Oh no, a MacGuffin. Are you leaving that canopic jar in the box as you close it?
I think that would make... Is this something that I can carry, like the box itself?
It's, maybe 10, 11 inches in square proportions, so you could feasibly carry it. It's about bulk 3 in total, just because it is a little awkward. It would be a little hard to hide in a pack. It's something that would be quite obvious you're carrying to the people here.
Okay, but the canopic jar itself...
If anything, that would be easier to hide.
But I'm just concerned about... I'm assuming it's super sturdy and not at risk of being broken if I get tossed around.
It's claimed to be an artifact that has the organs of a prior herald of a god, so...
We wouldn't know that Erasni's ascended
You
to
guys
deity.
would not know that Erasni
Yeah.
has ascended to godhood. Nope. Last you know, Erasni was effectively a demigod who had died and been taken to Geb, where she had become a lich.
Yeah, we wouldn't even know that she was freed from Geb.
Nope.
Something we
Oh. Okay. I'm like, well, it looks like my hope that perhaps whatever the secret was would help free us is not going to happen.
It's just responsibility. Oh no.
It's just responsibility. All right, well, I'll put the comic jar in my pack then.
Okay.
And
As
leave
you
the...
pick it up, despite the drop in temperature around it, the jar itself is notably warm to the touch. As you hold it in your hands and begin moving it to your pack, you hear the sound of breathing coming from within it. Faint, shuddering breaths.
My already pale face gets more pale, as I'm sure Suri could probably notice.
Yeah.
What is this?
It's a relic. It's not going to help us survive, but it seems it's my responsibility to look after.
Maybe it could help you survive. Mattis, as you hold it, there is a almost flash of inspiration as you listen to the breathing coming from within it. You don't know what they do, but this jar is capable of things. The one who holds it is capable of things. It has both a 2-action ability and a reaction that can be activated by someone holding it. You don't know what they are. I will let you know if you are holding it and the reaction triggers. But
Fun.
you have
You have to
this
be-
thing now.
You have to be actively holding it, not just in your possession.
You have to be actively holding it, unfortunately.
Okay.
Could this count as a thaumaturge implement or esoterica?
Uh. Hmm.
No, you can't have it. It's my responsibility.
Yeah. I mean, the real question is, would anyone trust Ira with this?
No, absolutely not. Yeah,
I mean, it certainly wouldn't, like, act as your wand, right? But I could definitely, I think I could allow it as an argument for it working as esoterica that you are holding on to that would allow you to exploit vulnerability while it is in one hand. So I would allow that.
Of course, it is up to whether or not anybody trusts Ira to hold on to it.
Right, whether or not they tell you either, because right now Mattis and Suri are the only people that know of this.
And Suri is confused and actually slightly disappointed. She was hoping for some like shining beacon of Iomide that the refugees could carry in front of them to drive the undead before them, not some weird blood-coated jar full of dead and crusty organs.
It's a lug.
And she can't really hide that disappointment as she says, Mattis, that's how's this gonna help us?
I don't know. I really didn't know what to expect.
Well, I guess
Certainly not this.
shove it in your pack and let's grab what else we need, but we gotta keep moving.
Yes,
And she very disappointedly rejoins the group in the main hall. And to her, this is not really noteworthy, I guess. I mean, it's a weird artifact, but has the whiff of magic, so that's not good either.
Specifically does
Sorry.
have a whiff of divine magic, though.
Of divine magic. Okay,
Yeah.
well, that's that's somewhat encouraging, but it is also pretty gross and
Fair.
doesn't really seem connected to the teachings of Iomide, right? Which is what she's been listening to for the last 6 years.
Yeah, I mean, it's the organ of Iomede's predecessor, effectively.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
Erasni was Eridan's herald before Iomade was. It was upon
Okay.
Erasni's death, which was kind of the fault of the Knights of Ozem, let's be entirely fair.
Yep.
Not even kinda, it was 100% their fault. Fuck the Knights of Ozem.
So the instructions were to deliver to the highest authority of the Knights of Ozem, but they don't really exist anymore.
I mean, as
Like,
far as you are aware, give me a recon knowledge. Actually.
I mean,
Last you were aware, they were making a stand against the Whispering Tyrant's forces as they began to cover the countryside.
right.
So you
So-
don't know... Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, would Mattis explain a little bit about that, because Suri seems so disappointed?
I think he would say that this was the. I would explain who Razani is, and this is related to her body. But as for like something to actually help us, it's like, unfortunately, it looks like this is a responsibility Constant had, and less of a means to our salvation. I got my own hopes up, unfortunately, but perhaps it is a relic, there may hold some benefit at some point, but I do not know what it is, and I do not know if that will help us survive or not.
As Mattis explains that, at first Suri lightens up a little bit, but you can see her mind racing, like she's desperately trying to find something hopeful in this, something that that they can use to inspire the rest of the group, and even to inspire themselves. But she just kind of fails to find anything to hold on to. It's just,
yeah, I'm like, I feel I didn't realize how big of a deal it was within Constant's responsibilities. He unfortunately never told me much about it. Only that this was something I had to do should he pass.
Interestingly enough, Mattis, you never actually knew Constan to be a member of the Knights of Ozem.
Yeah, I just know he's a worship of Iomade.
Yeah, as far as you were aware, that's all he was. But with your recall knowledge, I will also say you would have a general idea, probably, if the Knights of Ozem are still around. You guys leaving here are going to be banking on a lot, right? Your understanding of the landscape is from 6 years ago. But if things are as they were, at least, if the nation of Lastwall hasn't fallen, the closest city that would have Knights of Ozem would be Velamis, which is a couple dozen miles southeast of here. And kind of sort of on the banks of Lake Incarthen.
Okay. Whereabouts is Eula's Hope hidden?
It's pretty central in the Gravelands, actually. I had the map up last week, and I have not since opened it this week. Is everyone familiar, of course, where the modernly known as Gravelands are in Avestan.
Roughly.
Sorta.
Yeah, mostly.
Okay. It is kind of near, I don't want to say dead center of Avestan, but if anyone looks up a map of it, you can, of course, see the massive lake in it being Lake in Carthen.
I will post the funny.
The funny map we don't need right now. The funny map can be
okay.
found by anyone. If you haven't seen the funny map, look it up. It's very funny. Or let Ali post it. So the Gravelands are kind of in the center of Avestan on the northwestern side of Lake in Carthen. Yua's Hope is in the southeastern quadrant of the country, but still pretty close to the nation's center. So the closest large city you would be aware of is Velumis, southeast, directly on the banks of Lake in Carthen.
All right. Okay.
So it is certainly a possibility. Actually, I'm going to check something real quick while Ali is finding the funny map.
I have posted the funny map.
Yeah. Find
that's
Uh-Oh
this.
and Fantasy Transylvania, and then look at Zombie Apocalypse, and that's where we are.
Fuck the USSR. Okay, so our options are Fantasy Transylvania, fuck the USSR, and orcs.
Orcs.
Uh-oh is a lake.
Uh-oh is Tar-Baphon's headquarters.
Yes, Uh-Oh is the Isle of Terror, the island in the center of Lake in Carthen. That is where Tar-Baphon is located.
Let's not go there.
You will be heading towards there generally. You would sort of be where the A in the middle of Zombie Apocalypse is, and you're heading down towards the bottom of the P. But, like, shifted all closer to the water.
Yeah, okay.
We wouldn't know that the orcs and the hobgoblins are on our side at this point, right?
Nope. You guys have no clue what the political situation of the surrounding regions are. Because, while, again, in modern days, this area is known as the Gravelands, to you all, it's still the nation of Lastwall. The Knights of Lastwall are still the Knights of Ozem to you. You are very behind on the times.
Mm-hmm.
But as Mattis and Suri head back a bit, we are going to pivot in the probably 2.5, 3 minutes they're gone, since it doesn't take them long to find this, and they look, read the message, have a small conversation. Probably only about 3 minutes that they're gone. Ira, you're going to have some choices of who, if anyone, you would like to try and talk to. Dare I say, influence.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, I think Ira is going to focus on the ones whose ethics and morals align more with her. The ones looking out for themselves. She's not really interested in trying to appeal to people's sense of community and togetherness. She has an understanding with people who want to survive at all costs, so.
Sure. So from what you know, Rockvel, Marco, now it seems even potentially Garag, are all some of those people who seem to be leaning towards going off on their own. So who, if anyone, might you wish to speak with, or might you wish to try and figure some things out? Since this is, of course, sort of pseudo-following influence, you can attempt to discover things about the people you're thinking of influencing by taking
Okay,
some of the time.
So, give me the 3 names and just a
Yeah.
brief tagline for each person.
Rockville Hardbrow, the dwarf smith, who got very upset at you being lazy. Marco was the lazy orphan when Garag strong-armed you into helping shore up the wall. And Garag was the orc who is the only survivor of his sort of foraying troop into the Gravelands, who fled like a coward.
Okay. Cool. I guess Ira will start with a discovery on Marco.
Sure. The child.
Yes, we must corrupt the child.
No, save the child.
Fantastic. And I will say, each attempt at discovery or influence takes about a minute. You guys don't have a whole bunch of time to do this, because people are going to make their own decisions. People are still conversing amongst one another, trying to decide if it's worth it to either try and stick together as one big group or split into separate groups. So people are going to make decisions. This is about, can you get them to listen to you?
Yes.
So, Marco, if you would like to try and discover, this is, of course, a blind check. You can give me either perception or society.
Okay. Can I ask, would either one be lower?
No.
I can't ask, or no, they're not lower.
Good question.
God, Jericho, please.
They are both the same DC in this case.
Okay, cool. Yeah, Ira she's gonna approach Marco and just try to get an understanding of what he wants. Like, if that makes sense, like, obviously everybody wants to survive, but, like, is Marco pure survival? Is he...
Yeah. Fantastic. So you get a couple choices when you investigate someone. You can learn what the, of course, best skill to influence them would be. You can learn about any resistances they might have that will increase the DC. You can learn about any weaknesses they have that will decrease the DC to influence them. You can also learn a bit more about, like, their background, their personality, and what might impart a penalty on your roll.
I always like weaknesses. I feel like weaknesses can kind of give you other information anyways.
Fantastic. You've seen... You've seen him be offered alcohol by Skulk before. And he's taken it. You recognize that, especially as he has grown older. Marco is about 14 right now. No parents with him. He has very much developed a bit of rebellion against authority. He hasn't had a good adult figure in his life for a long time. You sort of recognize that while he is... rebellious, he's sort of looking for that voice to keep him in line. So maybe this isn't exactly Ira's shtick, but you come to believe that were you to present yourself as a figure of authority, that would sort of cause him to step back and listen to you.
What about a parental? If I can ask that, I don't know.
You're not sure about that. You know he cared quite a lot about his mother's, but...
That's...
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, in that case, Ira will play it safe right now. She's... Oh, sorry, with the alcohol thing, does he seem to, like, enjoy alcohol? Is he a big drinker?
I don't think Skulk has offered it very frequently. Has offered
It
it
has
on
been
occasion.
maybe twice, and only when he's really upset.
You honestly are not sure. You yourself were probably drunk during those times.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, then in that case, Ira will just kind of approach him and definitely go for the authority figure route.
Okay.
Not trying to like suddenly be a super responsible boss or anything. But just kind of I think the angle she's going for is like, hey Markle, you know what's best, right? You know we have to stick. And just kind of make herself seem very confident is what I would go for.
Okay. You may certainly give me a diplomacy check. In this case, this can be public. It was a weird thing that discovery is blind, but that is a failure.
Yep. My initial rolls. Oh, fuck!
That is hysterical.
Hey, boss, have you integrated Keely's cancels out nat ones yet?
No, fuck that. You're already getting a major boon from me from the fact that I'm using Keely's in the first place, and you know it.
Okay.
Because I'm not a fan of Keely's.
Thank you for using Keely's.
You're not welcome. So what I'll say here, Ira, that would be a success. Exactly.
Okay.
But a nat one brings it down to a failure in this moment, which of course doesn't do much. It doesn't put him at odds with you. What the bone I will throw to you is that you realize as you are trying to talk with him, while he appreciates being spoken to like an adult, and just sort of explaining to him as if he is an adult, he does not like an authority figure presenting themselves as such to him. You nat one your discover check as well.
Oh my god. Okay, that's fucking hilarious.
So that was in fact his resistance and had increased the DC to 18.
Okay.
So after your first 2 minutes here, you've made no progress with him, but we will come back to you in a moment. I would like to go over to Skulk. As you are sort of sitting on the steps, Skulk, would you like to do any of this sort of discovering or influencing yourself? If not, would you still attempt anything if people were to come up to you, say, to try and leave?
I'll only start calling attention to it if they try to push past me.
Okay.
But like if they come over, I will attempt to talk people out of it.
Sure. I will say then, after the first minute or so, it is going to be actually not one person, all 4 of the brush paws make their way towards you. A small little group of foxes all prance their way up to the steps that you are currently sitting on and blocking. And you see Yono the father start signing his tail in a very crude move.
Skulk will cross their arms and shake their head. No. We stick together.
Move.
No. We stick together.
Let me see. Yono is going to sort of paw in the dirt at the bottom of the steps and the dust and draw like a very crude tree, a very crude skeleton, and a very crude fox peeking out from behind the tree looking at the skeleton. Welcome to Charades with Foxes. Your guess is as good as mine.
I'm guessing he's mostly saying like they can hide because, foxes.
How attentive would you say Skulk has been over the last 6 years?
They are attentive. They're just a dumbass. That's all it is.
Okay. Then I will say you would probably remember in this case, the brush paws were actually the people who were the
They're
ones
scouts,
to
right?
warn you. Yeah, they're rangers. They were the ones who had noticed the undead and warned you as hope.
Gotcha.
So this could be a hiding. This could potentially be a offering of scouting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can, of course, still try and hold them back if you would like, and I'll ask for a roll, but
I will ask him, are you abandoning us or are you trying to help scout? I figured he'll at least answer the question.
that is a good question.
Because realistically, they probably, like, in a situation like that, 1 or 2 is pretty much the best way to signing a number for the options.
Yeah, they will. They don't tap the ground. Yuluva actually comes up and just bites your ankle twice, real quick.
Okay. I will kind of.
Not like a hard bite to draw blood, but just like a nibble.
Yeah.
Nibble.
Yeah. It's just really funny that that's the way they fucking went about it. Question is, would Skulk be willing to to stop them at that point if they're saying that? I genuinely promise.
Just to make sure we're on the same page above table, they were biting 2 bites to say they're abandoning.
Oh,
They're planning to go off on their own.
Okay, because I had made the first option abandon or the second.
My bad. My brain short-circuited there. So it's only 1 bite then.
Okay. Then no, Skulk will.
It's like a bite and then an attempt to squeeze past.
Mm-mm. We need you guys.
Uh,
Everyone here needs you.
I'm gonna ask for a diplomacy check.
You helped us once. Please help us again. And yes, I believe it was.
I'm going to ask you to roll. I'm going to apply a +1 circumstance bonus to your roll here. So that'll make it a 10, which is still a failure.
I'm going to reroll that. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Okay, well, there we go.
That will be a success. And I will say, on a success, Yuluva will stop trying to push past you. They still seem pretty set on leaving right now, but for the moment, they sort of take a moment and stop trying to push past and potentially seem open to more conversation. As this second minute passes and Ira finishes up her conversation with Marco, that's when we're going to say Mattis and Suri as well return to the conversation and the group. And there is sort of a pause in conversation as the 2 of you come around the corner and people look to you with expectations very clearly written on their faces.
I was hoping it would be a great boon, but it seemed it was a religious responsibility that he had passed on to me.
I think we'll say Crassian will speak up at that. Please tell me that religious responsibility is the ability to generate food?
I am afraid not.
Shit. That was worth hoping.
Although I do have training I did have read over the years of the means of surviving, but that's not the same as what Constan had done for us for 6 years.
No, it really fucking isn't it? We didn't have to worry about actually getting eaten ourselves.
Jericho, just to make sure I'm not misreading the vibe of
Mhm.
this item that we got, because I'm also like not that well into the lore of that.
Yeah.
So, would it be something that would give people hope or motivation? Like, I'm thinking, I just quickly read up a little bit about it. You know, the Knights of Ozem were led by Erasni into battle. So, is this possible, or possibly something where people would feel like, oh wow,
Oh,
what a
goodness.
fitting parallel to our fate here, or is it really as disappointing as I've
By
been making it out to be so far?
by our reckoning, as far as we know, she's still a lich.
Yeah, Orozni's fate, from as far as
Mm,
you guys know, is also the fact that a few of the knights infiltrated Geb, were turned into Grave Knights themselves, and then came back and stole Orozni's corpse so that Geb could turn her into a lich. So
Oh,
the Knights of
that's
Ozem have effectively betrayed Orozni a lot of times throughout history. They bound her in the first place to fight for them. Real shit thing to
So,
do. I th-
so if anything, it would actually be an ill omen for us to be associated with her.
No, not necessarily. It's hard because everyone here are, for the most part, normal people. They aren't part of the Knights or anything. Um, I think it would truly be up in the air. Some people could certainly be inspired by it. Others might certainly see it as an omen as well. That'd be up to you to determine. I don't think everyone would have the same response to it.
is that something we might know just based on our time with these people? Like, is anybody especially religious would like want to fulfill this duty?
I think.
I think it's important to point out. I just said it's a religious duty that Constance
Yes.
has bestowed upon me. I'm not saying what that responsibility is.
Yeah, right now
Just
we're
that
just in the
it's
theory
not
standpoint.
it's not really related to survival.
And I
So like
think in this exact moment, you guys would all, who know about this at least, recognize and understand that to these people, religious significance is not going to fill their stomachs or help them survive the undead. So it may potentially give additional hope in the future. Maybe like while you guys are on the road. But for now, it's just additional disappointment. Uh, Most people
Yeah.
probably will not care.
Yeah, I think that's how Suri responds to it as well.
I think that's
And she,
entirely fair.
yeah, she just
Yeah. Look, I already screwed up by talking about journey.
You did, yes. I think you were directly told to keep it a secret.
Yes, I might have forgotten that.
Instantly
hee hee
soiled
ha
it.
ha. Don't the funny hee hee ha ha. Don't worry about it.
Uh,
No, but yeah. Basically, only have our own skills to rely on.
Fantastic. So instead, I think of just constantly being like, this minute, each person attempts to influence this person. This minute, this person attempts to influence this person. That's just going to bog it down and be boring. We are going to turn this a bit more narrative with still some dice rolling inside it. I want to give each of you guys the opportunity to choose one or two people you would like to focus on trying to convince.
Suri's gonna have a few chats here and there with most people, but she's really gonna focus on Garak because she feels like he might be standing on the sidelines because he's kind of a loner, but she's been having a good relationship with him, I think, and Rockville because
Sure.
she likes her.
Fair. Okay. We'll just go ahead and sort of put people with who's where right now. So I'm going to put Elizo, fuck off. We'll put Rockville up there with Gurag and Suri. She hides in the statue. We'll move these people. Who else has people they would like to focus on trying to chat with? And this is not a convince to stick with the group. This is more so right now just a convince to listen to us and go along with the decisions we make. This is a trust building exercise.
Right.
Okay, so the dwarf smith, you said she's kind of gotten mad at Ira in the past for being lazy.
She has. Suri's also going to speak with her during this time. You can as well. But Suri's definitely spending some time with her. They have a bit of a better relationship than you do.
Yeah. I was thinking the orc, but if...
Suri's with both of them.
Yeah, it's rough. It's rough.
Who was it that wanted to play the snake oil salesman, untrusted by everyone?
Yeah, no. Yeah. Well, I'm definitely gonna go with Marco.
Okay.
I'll let other people decide, and then I'll see from.
Sure. You guys have chosen all the hard to convince people so far. I love it.
Skulk is gonna keep talking to the brush paws.
Okay.
Okay.
That'll definitely be a big thing on its own. So that would leave you, Mattis, just as a reminder. You've got Herda, who has Yastolo with her, since young child Yastolo. Again, I want to remind everyone, this is the artwork of a child.
It's obnoxiously large, too.
There are Bicky and Kleb, the goblin twin instrumentalists. There is Elizo, the leader of the quartet, and Crassian, the vocalist of the quartet.
Yeah, I don't think her dog is going to need a whole lot of, hey, you should stick with us too if you want to survive. So that one should be pretty straightforward. Maybe Alzo and Crassian might be good people to talk to.
Sure. You are welcome to chat with them.
Alrighty. Let's all chatter up over there. What's up, guys? Please don't make fun of me for my being dumb.
And that would leave potential additional choices for Ira and Skulk as Herdaw and the Goblin Twins. But we will come back to that because, of course, while there is getting people cooperative, there may be additional benefits to spending more time chatting with them, and I'll let you guys make that decision as we go. But I want to give you guys some time to think about what you would like to say to people, and so for that, and it's also sort of a perfect time, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break. So stand up, stretch, grab some water, do whatever it is you need to do, I don't care, and I will see you all in just a few minutes. And welcome back. So, we are picking up with each of you going to speak to some different people. Instead of doing how influence normally works, which is just effectively going to have you do repeated rolls to see how well you get them on your side, I instead want to leave it up to an actual little bit of conversation and roleplay, and I'll have you guys roll, and that'll sort of determine the gradient of perhaps how long it will take to convince them, if at all, to become cooperative, let's say, towards you. So, who would like to go first? I'll give you guys the option to determine.
Oh my god.
Pick your poison.
I'll go ahead.
Okay.
Okay. So, who are the other two available?
There are the Goblin twins, Bicky and Kleb, as well as Herda Polsoma and her son Yastolo. But we will start with just Marco, because Marco does have the option that you could perhaps influence him a bit higher and get a boon from him, as long as he travels with you. So, You have already started trying to talk to him and realize that the adulting angle doesn't quite work.
Yeah, cool. Then in that case, Ira will change her tact and go for talking to Marco as an equal, and kind of emphasize the idea, he's old enough to start taking on more responsibilities, and he's young, or he's youthful and energetic. He could, yeah, just kind of going for that angle. If he doesn't like, being quote unquote talked down to by authority figures, then Ira figures that he'll appreciate being
Sure.
kind of
So,
fluffing it up.
what
Sorry.
specifically, do you have anything specific you would like to say to him?
I'm actually just gonna discover on him in that case.
Okay.
What?
Go for it.
I'm sorry.
Nope. All good.
What is that for, Jericho?
I wanted to sort of eschew regular influence from this point and give you guys the opportunity to actually speak to them. If you really would like to just leave it up to rolls, though, I am happy to do that.
No, that's
I don't want to force you guys to roleplay the horror.
Yeah, I think Ira will just, in terms of specifics, I think what Ira will do is compliment him a lot on how much he's grown and how, he's become a fine young man and stuff like that. And I'm trying to think of exactly how Ira would word it. She wouldn't want to call it responsibility, because based on what she's seen from him, he probably doesn't like responsibility.
No, he very much likes to shirk that.
Yeah, I think what she would go for is that he can be a person people look up to. I think that's the aim she would.
I mean, how can I be someone people look up to in this sort of situation? I don't have the... People died by sticking together, Ira. I'd love to think that we can continue to work together and get through this and find safety somewhere else, but last time people stuck together with the undead, we haven't seen them since, so I assume bad things have happened.
Ira will kind of go ahead and place a hand on Marco. And you and me were kindred.
You are cutting out pretty heavily.
Oh,
The mic hates you tonight. I'm sorry, this is happening.
No, I'm sorry. Ira will place a hand on Marco's shoulder and say, Marco, you and me were kindred spirits. We both get yelled at all the time by all the people who go on about responsibility and work and stuff. So trust me, I know where you're coming from. I understand the thoughts you're thinking. But there are things that other people can do for you. If you go out there on your own, there won't be anybody do the things that you might not be able to. Don't think of it as hanging around to support them. Think of it as hanging around so that they can support you.
Right, but I mean, sure, we can support each other. You said it yourself, Ira. Yeah. the zombies, the undead attack, you're already planning to abandon people.
I'm not planning to abandon them right away. Obviously, if, a handful of zombies show up, we should work together to I will be honest, yes, if things get really bad, I will leave. But the more people we have, the more zombies we will take on. The less there will be a need. If you go out there on your own, and obviously with one person, it's easier to hide, easier to sneak. But if zombies, ghouls, skeletons, whatever, spot you, try to chase you, pursue you, hunt you down, you would have nobody there to watch your back.
I will say at this point, you may go ahead and give me your check to diplomatize him. And again, we're working on a slight gradient here over the original DC. Okay.
This is fucking horrendous.
The rolls are not going in your favor necessarily.
I haven't rolled above it, what, 7? I don't know.
It's been pretty abysmal.
As you spend some time chatting with Marco here, I will say on that roll, it takes maybe about 3 minutes of your time here to generally make him a bit more cooperative, to be willing to listen, to step down from going off on his own for the moment, and listen to what your plan is once all of this has died down. Would you like to spend some additional time with him to really sink in how much of a help he could possibly be, and potentially gain a bit of a boon for you guys? Or would you like to spend some time talking to other people at this point?
No, Ira will try to. I mean, she's made progress. She wants to, do the thing, the home run rather than just the double play.
Sure.
That's not the right baseball terminology. I'm sorry.
I will not require another roll here. It is just going to take another minute or two to do so. And that is going to put you at about 6 minutes spent at this point in total since this sort of convincing stuff began. So, who would you like to go? Actually, we'll come back to you. We'll get everyone up to a certain point and let you guys determine. Again, you don't know how much time you have. You've definitely been loud enough that you would be shocked if Undead didn't come to the door at all. It is going to be a situation of how and when and what can be done before then. And when are people going to make up their minds. So, I will say, Marco's boon, as long as he is traveling with you guys, is pretty great. He allows you guys to use exploration activities while fatigued.
Oh, that's actually going to be in a campaign or adventure
That's
like
so
this.
good.
At a
Yeah.
slight circumstance penalty to do so.
Yeah.
But his willingness to press on and help people is quite infectious after your conversation with him, and so he will help people to soldier on.
Can I ask what his real weakness was?
His real weakness was that deep down he's a child still, and so making him feel loved and secure would reduce the DC by 2, or by 4 if you offered him a hug.
I was thinking about that, but I wasn't sure. I was worried.
When you asked about going for the parental angle, I was like,
Yeah. Oh well.
Yep.
Okay, sorry, continue.
No worries. Who would like to speak with someone next?
Oh, the arts are muted, so I guess I'll go.
As you spoke up, you're next either way. So, between Elizo Shardhelm and Crassian Pattertap, both of them are different individuals in this case. They do have different focuses for conversation and influence. So, which would you like to spend some time speaking with? Crassian has absolutely been the one who has spoken up and been a bit crotchety and judgmental. Elizo has otherwise relatively remained silent up until now.
What do I know about them? Spending
Yeah.
6 years with them. Like,
The Querulous Quartet was a funny group of individuals that you have had here. They all were a traveling performance group, of course, that were in Yua's Hope at the time that all this went down. I mean, they're pretty simple people. I will allow here, go ahead and give me a either blind perception or society roll, your choice, to get a general idea of what you know about them.
haha. Here comes a blind perception because my society's terrible.
Fantastic. Okay. I mean, from what you've learned over these years talking with these people, like, Elizo is the leader and the songwriter of the quartet, but he was a lesser Chalaxian noble who left home specifically to make a name for himself here in Lastwall. The issue is he's fucking dog shit with weaponry and fighting, so coming to Lastwall like that, not a good plan. And that caused him to turn to music, becoming a performer and leaning into his talents that way. You would specifically know that he doesn't actually care about dying. It's how he dies that he cares about. He's one of those people that believes that he's such a performer at heart. He has spoken many a time on that, how awful it would be to have such an unremarkable death at the hands of random undead. He wants a tragic death that people are going to remember. He might even lament in a moment or two the fate of Dame Talia without really thinking that, man, that's kind of how I'd like to go out. People relying on me, and then the tragedy of becoming an undead before their very eyes when they think they've put me to rest. What a more perfect story. Fucking psycho.
That guy's
This
crazy.
dude's a freak.
Damn freak.
Crassian, on the other hand, was actually a former cutpurse from the River Kingdoms. But after robbing a particularly vindictive merchant, he had to leave town, so to speak, hop on a boat, and, as he himself has put it, settled down in Lastwall in order to get the heat off of his back and change his ways. He's a coward. He's craven. He's overly cautious towards things. But he is also one of Skulk's biggest friends here because he's an alcoholic too.
I know how to make friends.
He
If you
loves
want to keep
wine.
eating alcohol, if you want to keep eating alcohol, you stick with us.
Hey, if you want to incorporate that into your argument, be my guest.
I don't think Mattis would do that.
That's fair.
No. Okay.
So that is your sort of general knowledge on these two individuals in particular.
All right.
Who would you like to speak with?
Well, I think I would start off by let's come over to Cassian. I'm sorry if I got your hopes up with that thing earlier. I really thought there might have been something that would be helpful, but it really didn't seem to be anything of use to us right now.
I mean, you're talking in circles a bit here, Mattis. You can tell me what it is it actually was? You said a religious obligation, but
It's just
can't help a man's curiosity.
it was a religious symbol that he was in charge of, and in passing, he leaves it in charge to me. That's all it really was. I'm not really sure why he made such a big deal about it being a secret. Just all the stress, everything that went on, I got too excited, I guess. But all that means is that all we have is ourselves to rely on here, and whatever skills we can muster together.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, I should probably apologize for riling things up myself a little bit. Don't regret what I did, because we got problems we need to overcome, and I'll be entirely honest with you, this is too many people, too many hysterical people to travel in one big group with undead out and about. We're gonna be losing people if we travel in a group like this, so there's absolutely no way this will work out. You know that.
Perhaps, but I can't turn my back on everyone.
It's a lot easier to do the first time, let me tell you.
Well, unfortunately, my parents were Knights of Ozum, and with Constan and Dame Talia both being Iombade worshippers, and I follow in their footsteps as well. I just cannot fathom the idea of leaving anyone behind. I will attempt to help as many as I can.
And so you think your, forgive me, but your faith, your belief is going to be what keeps everyone here alive?
That's why I'll draw my strength and inspiration from, yes.
Huh. Well, can't say I've seen that work out for too many people, but who knows, maybe you'll be different from everyone else.
The only other option is to give up, and I'm not ready to do that.
Another option is to go out on your own, leave, find safety, find help even, hell. Choose the safe and smart option, Mattis. You can't help people if you're dead.
Well, I think if the Knights of Ozum are still in the fight, they'll likely be in Vilimus to the southeast.
Velimus is 60 fucking miles from here, Mattis. I think my point stands even better. You want to bring a group of fucking, 18 people now here? 60 miles with no food, no supplies? Undead swarming at our backs?
Well, if not there, I'm open to suggestions.
Again, you can go to Velimus. Just go on your own. I'll go on my own. Tell people to separate. Hell, split them into smaller groups even. Just this many people together. I'm not sticking with that. And you can let me know, sorry, above table, whenever you would like to roll. You can just tell me. If you feel you're running out of ideas of things you want to say, or it gets a bit circular, you are free to tell me when you would like to move on to rolling.
Assuming that's going to be a Diplomacy.
For the most part, unless you really have another skill you think would fit the situation, diplomacy is always just sort of a good baseline.
Yeah, diplomacy's not my strong point, unfortunately.
Come on, where's Durgesh when you need him?
Right. Yeah. He's good at diplomacy. Yeah, like the only other thing I can think was like try and impress him that you'll need some good of survival, and that's one of my good skills is survival. So, but I guess realistically, I'm only going to rely on diplomacy here.
Yeah.
Alright. I'll give that diplomacy roll. Go high.
Okay. It is definitely going to take some time to convince him here. If you really want to. I will say... that after... Sorry, I'm rolling dice like a menace. After the first 2 minutes, he's still pushing back. You're going to spend at least 5 minutes on him in total if you want him to become cooperative here. So you are welcome to do that if you'd like, but if you would like to sort of, at the 2-minute mark, decide there's no point, let's just move on to something else, you are welcome to do that instead.
I think he would try a little bit longer, because like he's convinced that he can do it on his own. I'm not convinced he can do shit on his own.
Sure. You can absolutely convince him. It's going to take you a little bit longer than it took Ira to get Marco, like, fully convinced and get his boon. So, it takes you about 5 minutes in total just to make him cooperative.
Yeah.
Which will leave you potentially some additional time. But we will move on to someone else for now instead. Our 2 muted friends. Who would like to go first?
Suri can go.
Fantastic. You've got Gorag Sunbrand and Rockvel Hardbrow with you. Which of them would you like to speak with first? And similar to Mattis, if you would like to roll to see if you have any general potential helpful information, you are welcome to do so.
Yes, I'll start with that.
Fantastic.
What would you like me to roll?
Blind, either perception or society.
Okay. Hang on. Well, I'll try society. Why not?
Sure. Okay. I mean, Garag, he's been very open about it over the years. He was a member of the Death's Head Hold, which stands on the border of Belkson and the Gravelands, and very much is a major fighting force against the undead. He and a group of soldiers from his hold all came into the Gravelands to sort of routinely hunt undead. It was his first ever real fight, and he fled. He ran from the fight in fear, dropping his weapon and abandoning all of his comrades to die, fleeing until he found himself in Yua's Hope at around the really, 2 hours before the Brushpaws arrived with their warning and just sort of happened to end up here in the crypt with you all. He's well-meaning. He feels shame about his past, and so he wants to be helpful where he can, but at the same time has very much struggled to find common ground with a lot of the people down here. You are probably one of the few people who's actually gotten on relatively good terms with him. Rockville, on the other hand, she was Yua's Hope resident blacksmith. Has been in the Five Kings Mountains for a couple decades at this point. Grew up in the Five Kings Mountains, but left them when she was a young adult. There's really, not much special about her. She very much cares about hard work and people actually putting in effort and doing their best. Refers to a lot of people as uncut versions of who they can be.
Mm-hmm.
So, based off of that, who would you like to speak with first?
I think I'll start with Garak.
Sure.
And
Fantastic.
yeah. Should I roll anything to get a read on what might work well with him, or
that was
remember
what that general society roll was
what
to
that was.
start, and unfortunately, it was not a particularly amazing roll.
Yeah. Well, I'm just gonna go out on a limb with him, and
Yeah.
I think I've also said that in last session that Suri has in the past too pointed out to him that there's no shame in surviving.
Yep.
And living or sorry,
Please
my
don't
voice
die.
is dying.
That's not good.
Yeah, like I said, there's no shame in surviving, even when you lose your voice in the process. Yeah, so living to fight another day and to protect and save other lives instead of giving yours for a lost cause. Like there's lots of honor and valor and value in that, and she'll remind him of that and point out that this is the opportunity to come with the group and protect them as best as he can, and maybe finally fight that battle that he had been fretting over running away from all those years ago. Yeah, something along those lines.
Sure. Your situation with Garag is very interesting because you've spent so much time specifically with him these last years and had these conversations. So I think telling him that, hey, this is your time to sort of confront that is definitely very powerful and resonates with him pretty hard. I will go ahead and ask for a roll here from you.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll actually have you start with your diplomacy roll.
Well, that's great. That's public?
Yes, this can be public, and thus is hero pointable.
All right. I guess I'll hero point it.
Why not?
Yep. Oh, made that private somehow. There it
Nope,
is.
all good. So 16 total.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Fantastic. Okay. Then I think as you spend a minute or so here speaking with Garag first about how, he certainly brings up, I know we've talked about this in the past, back when I ran and got lucky enough to end up here to take shelter with you all. What if the fight wasn't lost, though? There was still a chance. I could have fought. I could have helped them. I haven't been in a fight since then. What if I do the same thing?
Sorry. So he's worried he might do the same thing again.
Yeah, he's effectively worried that his major worry, as he says it, is that the fight wasn't a lost cause when he fled. It wasn't a fleeing a losing battle. It was truly abandoning in the middle of the fight or even at the beginning.
Okay. Okay.
And he's worried that he might just do the same thing again.
Yeah. So Suri will respond. She'll say, "You're not the same man that stood on that battlefield all those years ago, and you're not alone."
I mean, really wasn't alone back then. Either I was with people I'd grown up with and spent time with.
But were you truly close? Were you looking out for each other? You remember the words of the Dame and of Constan. Our bonds are strong.
That's what I thought back then, too. They were supposed to be. Yeah, I think he will openly admit here, probably for the first time, one of the few things he has kept to himself. My brother was one of the people I was supposed to fight with there, and I left him behind.
Well, that's fucked up.
God fucking damn, just kill him, I guess.
Yeah, just straight up say that in character, like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
God damn, you should kill yourself.
I mean, honestly, I think Suri is, because she is not diplomatic, right? She is
No.
not trained in it. She does not. So it'll, at the very least, it'll show on her face like just surprise, and she won't be able to hide that shock, because that is shocking to her.
Yeah. This
And
is
she'll-
something he has never mentioned before.
Yeah. So, and she'll say that, and she'll say, "You never." I mean, I get why you would have never mentioned that before, but
Even the
Again.
battle is shameful enough. Abandoning my hold members is shameful enough. But abandoning
Then
my
don't do-
brother?
then don't do it again. This Suri, and really like pushing hard at this point.
I'd love to say that I won't. I don't know if I can guarantee that, though.
I don't need your guarantee, but if you don't come with us, then you're already abandoning us.
Hmm.
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Who said that?
That motivational poster over there.
Abraham Lincoln.
Who's
is.
that?
Waynius Greskiest.
Yeah, I think with your role and just the combination of the amount of time you spent with him in the past and your words now, it's actually quite easy to make him cooperative enough that he will stay with the group. He will do his best to prove to himself, if no one else, that he is different from who he was 6 years ago. I will leave it up to you if you would like to spend some extra time with him here. He as well has a survivor boon that you can gather if you want to spend some more time talking with him here, or if you would like to move on to talking with Rockville or someone else, you are welcome to do that as well.
I don't know if that's metagaming or not, but does that mean that I wouldn't get a chance to talk to Rockwell?
Not necessarily. I'm simply keeping track of the amount of time being spent right now, because some things may happen.
Right.
People
I
are
think-
going to come to a decision after a set amount of time, effectively, on their own. So it's
Yeah,
up
but
to
I
you
think
whether
that-
you want to spread out or focus.
It would be important to Suri to talk to Rockville. So if
Sure.
she has an opportunity later, she'll pick it back up with Garak. But she
Absolutely.
definitely won't-
You'll pass on that boon for now and focus on spending some time with Rockville. Well, you spent so little time actually on Garag. He actually only took 1 minute to sort of get on your side that will just move directly into Rockville with you as well. And you are free to speak with her. She's sort of like leaning up against the wall, not talking to anyone else as you are having your conversations with Garag. And when she sees you turn away and look over at her, my turn, is it? What words of wisdom do you have for me? What are you going to say to convince me?
You know me. There's not a whole lot of wisdom here.
There's a whole lot of empathy, though.
What? I don't know, Rockwell. And Suri looks out at, I guess at this point, probably people are starting to gather their stuff, at least the ones that we've convinced.
Yeah, people are... you're actually the first one to finish convincing someone,
Oh,
so
okay.
at this point in
Well, then-
time,
okay, so then
like, Ira's still
we'll just-
talking with Marco, and Mattis is still talking with Crassian.
Okay, so basically she looks out on that scene where people are trying to be convinced that it's a good idea to leave as a group, and Suri says, I don't know, Rockwell. Is this the right call?
Well, now you're asking me for advice. I thought you were taking charge. I don't think there is a right call right now, Suri. There's trying to survive. Of course, people on their own are going to find it potentially easier to get food for themselves and hide from the undead, but, I mean, you hear Mattis over there, just trying his best to make sure Crassian understands that if you're on your own, there's so many situations you can't account for, you can't get help on if you need to. I think it's a toss-up, in all honesty. I think I could do just fine on my own, but I wouldn't be adverse to traveling with the group and helping where I can.
Oh, and then Suri is kind of surprised that Rockville is considering that, and she's like, "Oh, no, you're coming with us, right?"
The original plan was to go on my own.
Oh, come on, you can't. No, what?
Do you have any idea how far traveled I am?
Oh, I'm sure you are, I'm sure you would do just fine. But what would we do without you? I mean,
Oh, that is a good question,
what
isn't
do you
it?
like? What do you like to call everyone? Uncut?
Yeah,
What would
uncut.
we do without our master craftswoman?
I'd probably just die.
That's right.
And then she
true.
takes a moment to actually think on that. Oh shit, you probably would just die, wouldn't you?
Well, don't say it that loudly, but yeah.
I just walked ass backwards into that, didn't I? Shit. Alright.
Buddy.
I knew I could count on you. Suri cracks a smile at her.
She smiles back. She's saying this, but you know it's all in jest from her. She's complaining, but I mean, you can tell right now she was actually just looking for you guys to offer for her to come with.
Right.
She's too proud to ask to go with you guys on her own. She would probably still say she's uncut herself to an extent, but you gave her the in, and she absolutely will agree to join you. I will say no further role necessary for that. Rockville is also someone who has a boon she can provide, and I will say at this point, you would have enough time to either with her or with Garag work up to getting their boon and put you about on pace with when
I think
Mattis finishes talking with Crassian.
Yeah, Suri will try to spend some more time with Garag because she's a little worried about him.
Yeah,
Rockwell
absolutely.
Yeah.
Fantastic. That is going to bring you up to about 7 total minutes spent. And Garag's funny little survivor boon, of course, so long as he travels with you guys, is literally his pride in being able to starve himself.
Oh,
Why is everyone a weirdo?
He, for anyone who's actually read through or played Triumph of the Tusk, it is made mention in there that orcs from Belkzen will participate in competitive fasting with one another at times. And
Yes.
Garag is quite proud of his championship background in that sport. So when food is scarce as you guys are traveling, he can fast the entire journey. You guys do not need to subsist additional food for him, and you cannot. A lack of food will not be enough to convince him to leave the group and strike out on his own.
Cool.
It's not really a big help to you guys, but now that he's with your group, you have a much lower chance of him abandoning you with that boon. I love that his boon is called Hunger Crusher. It's very funny to me.
Jeepers.
It sounds like a energy bar
Right? Hunger Crusher.
with electrolytes.
Right. Fantastic. So, finishing up over there with you, putting you at right around the same time Mattis is finishing. Skulk, you are being quite
Yes,
literally
it's my
hounded
time. Yep.
by a family of foxes that want to
Yep.
leave.
Yeah.
You're playing the world's worst game of charades.
Yeah. It's a time.
Yeah.
Um.
I will similarly start with giving you the same offer as well if you would like to make a
Yeah.
either perception or society check
Yep.
blind to see what else you may know about them.
Okay.
Fantastic. Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know much else besides the general information you guys have. They're actually one of the few people, groups of people even, that haven't shared much about themselves these 6 years, simply because they try to do so through drawings and
Yeah.
tale sign language. And that's just been a painful experience to an extent for people to understand. There's been a lot of miscommunication from them. But you do know they are rangers that worked with the Knights of Ozum. They did not work for them, but they would trade information with them for supplies.
Okay.
They were the ones who brought the information to you as Hope about the undead coming and were offered sanctuary because of that, effectively. I would say Skulk is aware from the odd conversation here and there where Retznov and Retznav will shift back into human form for a little bit to chat with you before shifting back into fox form and getting caught by their parents. That especially Yono and Yaluva, the parents, have spent a lot of these last 6 years wondering if the family would have just been better off staying out in the wilds and not coming into the crypts in the first place.
Interesting.
There has been a pretty heavy amount of regret, it seems, on their part for being down here.
Okay, that kind of throws a wrench in what I was gonna say.
Well, think quickly.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna keep going with the way I had been. That seems to have given me some boon. When I mentioned like the people need you, like
Yeah.
I'm playing towards their good side here. And, like clearly they want to help considering they brought this information. So I'm gonna continue that kind of line. And I'm gonna kind of look at the parents and then look at the two kids and be like, I know you have your family, but there's other families here too. You can't just. I feel like you can't really just abandon them. Your Solo and Marco, especially Marco, doesn't even have his parents anymore. Or at least not with us. And your Solo needs help too. He doesn't even know what outside looks like. We need you guys because you guys are the best we've got and one of our best chances right now. You have the most experience.
They were definitely shaping up their tails to say something.
Okay.
When you specifically called out that Yastolo has never seen the outside, it gives them pause. They sort of sit back and ponder for a moment before... God, trying to figure out how to say what they want to say through pictures and charades is fucking rough, let me tell you.
And they're not allowed to speak, they can't speak Kitsune in that form, right?
Nope. They are fully just foxes right now.
Okay. I wasn't sure.
They cannot speak at all.
At all, yeah.
Oh goodness, how do they respond? I am drawing a mild blank for a moment. I apologize,
Is there
everyone.
any way that I could convince them for at least the conversation to take not fox forms? Just for the conversation and nothing else.
Yeah, I would say go ahead and give me a survival check for this.
Oh God. Do I have to do survival?
Do you have an argument for another skill that is not diplomacy in this case?
The best I've got is society, just in terms of information the kids have given me about how, like, there's this, like, how kitsunes kind of like have reduced needs for food and stuff like that. Just any information I've kind of gathered from the kids about.
Yeah. So the reason I'm asking for survival is...
I know why you're asking, but I got a -1 here.
Imagine they're hungry, and then they suddenly shift into a human form, and that hunger is immediately amplified to a horrible extent. You could potentially imagine it may cause physical pain. To do so. So I think I'm going to leave it at survival.
That's I mean, to be fair, Skulk is pretty aware that this might be like they're aware there's a reason they stay in these forms. So like if they genuinely if there's a genuine concern that that's going to be the case, they probably wouldn't even try to.
Okay. You are welcome to try. I will tell you the DC will not be particularly high. All circumstances permitting, I think the survival DC would only be a 12 in this situation. By the way, you have something on in the background, I think. That's
it's my 3D printer. That's why I've been muted the entire time. Yeah. We are going full manufactorum on my cosplay stuff.
Fair enough.
I have very little time.
So you certainly can. You're going to be looking at about a DC 12, though.
I'll try.
Okay.
I don't have any... God damn it.
Oh, if only it was a +1 instead of a -1.
Yup.
What a shame.
Damn it. Alright, so I probably wouldn't know anything.
Bringing up the potential offer, there is refusal from them. You recognize that it would make conversing easier, but the physical pain it would put them through might not be worth it to them.
Yeah, I figured.
Sounds like you need someone to open the door for them.
That is true.
Option number 2 here, Jericho. To make communication easier, can they use their tails for, like, minor stuff.
In what
Because would
sense?
I be able to? I'm thinking, would I be able to jerry rig something?
They
where
have
they could.
thus far been using their tails as a mimicry of sign language. That's something they've gotten good at over the last 6 years. I think asking them to then do something different with that might be a bit hard.
Fair.
Or, at the very least, time consuming.
Fair. Okay. In that case, we will continue with charades. So
Yeah.
I guess good luck on how they're gonna reply here.
Yeah, thanks. I've been trying to think this whole time. I think they actually devolve into a little bit of family bickering here for a moment, constantly like whacking each other with paws, waving their tails. It looks almost like they're dancing for a moment.
Okay.
But eventually they do stop, and Yeluva once more, the mother who was the one who bit your ankle here, is going to be the one to step forward and sign with her tail relatively callously. What other families?
All right. Time for for Skulk's very little belief in religion here. Because I
Not the
specifically
good
picked
neighbors.
Yeah. Where they're gonna say, all of us, we've been living together in this pit. No better way to put it. For 6 years. At this point, I'd be surprised if we weren't just one big family. We've helped each other this entire time. We've all worked together to survive. Isn't that how a family works? Isn't that what you guys are trying to do for your kids?
Go ahead and, I will say, give me a diplomacy check at this point.
Okay. I see Jericho has gotten tired of having to respond.
Not necessarily,
Okay.
It's pretty good.
because I liked your argument. And they will certainly think on that for a few minutes. Everyone here is family. What they want for their family right now is freedom and safety. You are forcing them to truly think to themselves, do we consider everyone else here to be family in any sense of the word? Considering we've spent 6 years with you, we've sacrificed the ability to even talk normally with one another for you all. How much do they actually care?
I mean, I get it.
When put like that to them, Yeluva is forced, I think, to recognize that, oh shit, she does actually kind of care about you guys. Damn.
Hell yeah.
Fuck. We do care about these people to some extent. No.
Again, when I start to notice like that, like, because again, like, probably don't see the emotion, but like, clearly I can tell maybe they're kind of coming to that recognition.
Oh, there's swishes of frustration from their tail.
Got it.
And like the two children and Yono are standing to the side and absolutely smirking as they recognize Yeluva coming to this realization. She's just unhappy that she's realizing this.
Yeah.
And they're unhappy.
Yeah. I'm gonna include, like, at this point, like, when I start noticing that they're getting frustrated, that they're coming to this realization, I'm like, trust me, I get it. I'm not even from this area. But you guys wanted to help people. That's why you probably came to tell us. I know you sacrificed a lot, and I know that the kids have told me that you guys are concerned. But at the same time, we we should all try and help each other.
They'll...
I can't force you to do anything, but
Yeah.
I at least wanted you guys to consider it that way, because we all care about you as well.
They certainly think on it for a good long moment, but eventually Yaluva does sort of back down from going for another bite at your ankle, and Yono sort of nuzzles up to her. It takes a couple minutes, but you do manage to get them to become cooperative towards you guys. Would you like to spend a bit of extra
I'll spend
time?
the additional time with them, yeah.
Okay, get their survivor boon. Why not? What is probably the most important survivor boon?
Again, when you said Rangers, I'm like, this is the most important group to convince, I feel.
These people were set up to be the hardest to convince and have the best
hell
survivor
yeah.
boon because of that. Their survivor boon is that Yono and Yolova will, if you guys are sticking together, once you're outside, they will volunteer to forage for everyone else.
Oh shit.
Nice.
All of you are going to gain the benefits of the forager skill feats, even if you are not trained in survival.
Heck yeah.
So
That's really important.
it's going to be very
Yeah.
huge, making it so you
I
effectively
am
can't
so
fail.
Glad. I am so glad I talked to them out of everyone.
They were the ones most adamant in leaving, and you presented some
Yeah.
very persuasive arguments to them. However,
Skulk is the dumbass, but she knows at least that much.
she's a dumbass with a heart.
Yes.
I am going to ask, at this point, you all have spent a good 6 to 7 minutes with these people, convincing them. There are a few you have not yet had the opportunity to speak to, but time waits for no man. I need a perception check from all of you, please.
Oh boy.
The Kamanakan. It's when they break in unexpectedly from the northwest.
Hey, Mattis, what have we talked about you calling out my stuff?
I like guessing.
Can you not?
Oh, okay.
It's very fitting because you rolled the best perception check here by a decent amount. And indeed, as you finish up talking with Crassian, there's still conversations happening between people. It seems Suri has finished up her conversations with Rockvel and Garag. Skulk has finished up her conversations with the Brushpaw family. Ira and Suri, I don't know why my brain keeps trying to combine both of those names and make me say Eerie. I don't know why. Ira has recently finished speaking with Marco and has begun moving to speak with someone else at this point. You catch a sound, though. It's not at the door. It's not a banging. It is a breathy moaning sound.
Oh.
And the sound of a few rocks tumbling down,
So
echoing out
Shit.
from up here.
Shit. I'm like, Kirsten, stay here, and I'm gonna push past everyone over this way. I'm like, I heard something. Hujra, get back.
Shit.
Huh? Yeah, I am going to. They'll sort of look confused, but Herdon and Stola have sort of been keeping to themselves recently, and they are going to sort of stumble to the side as you yell, "Get back!" hearing something. The rest of you definitely hear Mattis calling out about this. There's something. Go
I
ahead.
draw my sword as I move.
Absolutely, since you rolled so well. I'm also going to say, Suri, you are the other person who would have heard this.
Okay. Well, she'll make her way over there as fast as she can.
Fantastic.
Jericho, question for you.
Yeah.
Would you say Skulk has already done their alchemist daily prep?
You would have done it. It is not a new day.
Okay. Then it's all, and I have used it exclusively on alcohol because I would not have been prepared for combat.
You have thus far gotten 2 versatile vials back
Gotcha.
since
Okay.
the fight with Dame Talia.
Okay, no problem.
So, and those should be in your inventory because I have funny little buttons.
Yeah, I saw
Foundry likes to irk me and yell at me and be like, oh, 10 minutes have passed. Should they have versatile vials back? I'm like, no, fuck
that.
off.
I saw that before.
Which I suppose I can add to that point in time. But as Suri and Mattis run this way and begin to call out that there are issues, and people begin to look on and freak out slightly once more. Actually, they're much calmer this time. The conversations that have been going on. There's not going to be screaming and panic. Everyone is going to go silent to allow everyone to hear the sound of rocks tumbling to the north. I'm going to ask everyone to roll initiative from where they are. Mattis and Suri, the two of you can continue to roll perception. Ira and Skulk, I'm going to specifically ask the two of you to roll diplomacy still.
Oh, jeez.
Oh,
I'm
thank
sorry.
God.
Plus 2 to my roll in that
Plus
case.
2 to your
I'm
roll,
sorry.
Ira. Fantastic. Actually, I'll go it. Yours could have technically been perception since you finished speaking a minute earlier than everyone else, Ira, but we'll keep you on diplomacy because your perception check was pretty dog shit.
Thank you.
Natural 1.
Unfortunate. So, that is going to bring us to
That's
funny
okay, I don't have
combat
any buff
times.
spells left.
Yeah, you blasted through them, huh?
Yep.
Well, that's okay. That's what Vitality Lash is for.
Yep.
And 3 action heal spells. Let's go ahead and get some different music going here. As we start this off, actually with Skulkstick. You are up first as you see Mattis and Suri go dashing past and calling out.
I will run after him.
Yeah.
I forget what the button is to.
Space to move to the end, or you hold control and left click if you want to add a pivot point. So drag, hold control, and let go, and then click again. Perfect.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, well that didn't work.
Got to keep holding control.
Gotcha. So, what's my movement speed again?
25, I believe.
Yes. Okay. So I've gone 10. So 25. Oh, I see.
As you come sort of dashing forward to look through this open doorway, the wall that was patched up earlier today by Garag, Ira, and Marco has crumbled in an area, and a number of zombies have pulled themselves through and are just now standing up. Remind me, how long was Skulk in Yua's Hope before this all went down?
About a year.
About a year. Perfect. Can you give me a recall knowledge as a free action right quick?
Okay. Don't like that.
Oh, goody. There's something you recognize that is deeply fucked. Most of them look like zombies.
Yeah.
This one does too, but this one looks different.
Oh boy.
That one looks like a zombie, but you can see tear tracts coming down from their eyes that have not decayed at all in death.
Oh.
And they have black tears streaming down their face. You also recognize the face of this zombie.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, no.
Before you is the recognizable face of Veronica Blightender, one of Marco's parents.
No.
Oh, no. Skulk
That's
sees
not
that
good.
and looks at that, looks at the group, and slams the door shut.
You want a third action, just shut the door?
Yes, I want to make
Fantastic.
sure they can get in easily.
Okay.
And Marco doesn't see.
Anything
And
else?
I'm gonna call out anyone that can't fight, fall back. There's zombies.
Can you give
In an
me...
effort to try and get just
Good call.
Marco to go backwards.
Yeah, can you give
towards,
me a deception check real quick?
Jesus.
I was
Just
gonna
to
say,
see.
Good call, close that
I
door.
mean,
Now
I'm
slow down.
not lying. There are zombies.
I'm aware, but considering you guys
Is this
fought
public
earlier so
or
quickly...
blind?
Oh, blind, of course.
Ah, Jesus.
I want to see if any of these people clock the fact that you noticed something that freaked you out.
Fair.
But with that die roll, the person who matters most, whether they realized it, absolutely does not.
Perfect.
That was a natural 19 on your deception check.
Thank fucking Christ.
So, at the very least, Marco does not recognize that. Perhaps your gaze lingered on him for half a second there.
Yeah.
But, Suri, it is your turn, and Skulk has called out zombies and shut the door.
Okay.
You can also, at this point as well, forgot to do it when initiative was rolled, but you may go ahead into a rage if you would like, as your free action.
Right, but I'm wondering if she is gonna keep her clear head here. So are we theoretically ready to go? Did people like gather their stuff and are ready to leave, or?
People have mostly gathered their stuff, but the actual like final decisions and plans have yet to be made.
Okay.
So you guys could feasibly be like, hey, we're leaving at this point. But there is certainly going to be some people who may choose to leave the group because of that.
Okay. So, Sori's gonna say something to the effect of "Stand back," and she's gonna take a few steps forward and stand right in front of the door, cracking her knuckles and getting ready. So she's gonna stride and then ready an attack as soon as somebody opens the door.
Fantastic. All right.
Would it be okay for her to rage as well, or?
Yeah, I'll give it to you. I'll
Okay.
give you that free action still.
Okay. That's
Look, our cleric burned all their spell slots, assuming I'd only throw one combat down here at them. What a fool. I'll give you guys the
Now-
buffs.
I was making sure no one died in that first situation.
Hey,
There's
that's
people that-
entirely
there were a lot-
fair.
There were a lot of civilians, the non-combatants around.
Your 18 on the die roll perception check here certainly made sure you were aware of these zombies coming through, and there was not a risk of, like, Yastolo or Herdog getting attacked by them. So the good rolls have come in at the important points so far tonight, I think. That is going to bring us to the first zombie's turn, though. Good old slow-ass zombies. They're going to do what all zombies are best at doing, and walk to there and go to Ira's turn.
Okay.
That's you.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, so coming from the north, you said?
Yep. Through the door
Okay.
Suri is standing at. Not that you can see it right now.
Yeah, and Suri closed the door.
Skulk closed the door. Suri is
Yeah,
kind of
sorry.
sitting right in front of it with the like fists raised ready to punch.
Okay. Then I'll go ahead and spend, like, I think I'll actually, no, yeah, I'll advance forward.
Okay.
And then I am going to pull out, my throwing hatchet,
Sure.
and my, implement, my wand.
Okay, sounds good. Unfortunately, notably unable to see in that darkness. But Mattis, that'll bring us to your turn.
All right. I guess I'll move up here to reinforce.
Sure. Fantastic. Anything else you would like to do?
Not really, because I don't have any one actions to ready an action for that would actually be useful.
That's completely fair. That is going to bring us to the other two zombies in there. You'll never guess what they're going to do.
Let's try it.
You hear a lot of moaning from beyond that door. Let me tell you something.
What are they doing there?
Actually, I think the only thing I would do is like,
Yeah.
tell Herdo and Jasolo and Marco to like, move further to the east.
Yeah, at the top of the round, because of all the callouts that have been going on, everyone is going to sort of retreat into the far antechamber and get away from the potential issues happening. Yes. But at the top of the round, Veronica Blightender goes. And she is going to stride and also ready an action, I think. Because she is not a mindless undead.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
Instant panic in everyone's voices. Skulk, that is going to bring us to you. The door is now, unfortunately, a bit out of reach from you.
That's fine. Ready in action, does that use your reaction?
Yes, it uses 2 actions to set what action you're going to do. You choose a single action, and what the trigger will be. When that trigger occurs, you can use your reaction to do the readied
I
action.
understand. Okay.
It's a little
So-
convoluted.
Because 8 is also a reaction.
8
right?
is also a reaction, yes.
Got it. Skulk is gonna move a little bit further back,
Okay.
and I'm gonna ready an action for quick bombing with a vitality bomb.
Fantastic. Surya, unfortunately, your held action does not go off, as the zombies only had 2 actions. They could not open the door with how far away they were. So that brings us back to your turn.
All right, she'll delay.
Fantastic. If you have the initiative tracker up, there's a funny little delay button there nowadays, where your initiative number is. And then
Ooh,
you can
that's
just,
cool.
you click that when you want to come back in after the current creature's turn. So if you're planning to come back in after this zombie goes, you
Oh,
would
that's
just click
awesome.
that again.
What's that module?
It's not even a module, it's just part of base Foundry now.
What?
It's part
That's
of the Pathfinder system for Foundry. It's a fantastic change they
thought-
made.
I thought that was from Workshop.
Is it from Workbench? Man, I don't
Yeah,
know.
I think so because in other campaigns I'm in, that button doesn't work sometimes.
Oh, that's a tragedy.
Yeah.
Workbench should just be like an auto choose for GMs. So I don't think I just associate what's in Workbench with base Foundry at this point. Fantastic. If the zombie is going to open the door, though, with its first action here, which is going to trigger Skulk's held action, it's also going to trigger the held action of Veronica as well. I also
shit.
need simultaneously, and we'll resolve this one first, a will save from Suri, Mattis, and Ira. As the
Boy.
door opens and all of you get to see the visage of Veronica Blightender, and an immediate, overwhelming
hero.
sadness crushes down on you.
I'm going to hero point that.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay, lame.
Yeah.
Fantastic. All of you are completely unaffected by the aura Veronica has.
Never liked
However,
her.
Wait, did me moving back mean I just got just out of the aura?
it put you
Damn.
just outside of it, yes. Which is a little tragic. And Veronica is going to use her held action to vomit some caustic bile at Suri.
Boy.
Hate that.
Which, of course, Suri, you will thankfully have lesser cover because of the zombie in front of you. So, little chance of surviving this. But the bile just sort of melts through the back of the zombie's head and does end up sort of striking into your shoulder for 11 points of acid damage.
That hurts.
Skulk, that will then trigger over to your held action.
Yep.
Fantastic.
We're throwing a bomb at that idiot right in front of me.
Okay.
I forget how to do this. Quick,
Well,
let me use.
Target the guy you want to throw it
Yeah.
at. Everyone's cursor hovers.
Charge. And then throw.
A 13 will hit. Up to you if you want to
Alrighty.
fish for a crit, or if you want to just take it.
I'll just leave it.
Fair enough. Go ahead and roll damage. And of course, Suri, you do not take any splash damage here because it is all vitality damage.
All right.
Yeah, let's go, max damage.
Let's go. So this zombie, notably weak to vitality, is going to take a hefty amount and become enfeebled, and the other ones are just going to take a hefty amount of splash damage. Lovely, lovely. Phenomenal. And after all of that, this zombie has one action left. Because it only used its first action to open the door, and so, being the only target directly in front, it is going to lurch forward and slam its arm into you, Suri, to attempt to whack you. A big old miss, though, as you just bat its arm away. And that will bring us to your turn now, as you come back into initiative.
Yes, and Surya will punch it straight in
Have you considered that might be a little bit rude?
the. Well, first fist misses. Second fist. Aha.
There we go. Yeah, that'll do it.
You bone crunch as she does 26 points of damage.
That zombie is just gone. Fist through the chest and just split open in half. To open a path to move through.
All right. Suri mad.
Go walk into the chamber of death, I dare you.
That's the thing. She's in rage, right? So,
Rage doesn't mean you're being dumb.
Enrage does not mean you are not being tactical. I fully agree with that sentiment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless you really want to play it like that, but
No, it's okay. She is also still covered in vomit acid, so
that's true.
She'll hold her an action to take cover in the doorway, if that's possible.
There's not really cover to hide from, because you are sort of in a direct line to Veronica here. Could always just shut the door again.
Yeah, I think then she slammed the door shut.
Could always shut the door. You also had two actions. You could have readied something if you wanted.
No, I had struck twice. And then...
Oh, you did strike twice, right? You did not hero point.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Then Ira, that comes to you as the door is slammed shut and you are denied. How to deal with zombies 101.
Yeah.
Just close the door.
Deny your party the ability to do anything.
What are they gonna do about it? One action, move up to the door.
I mean-
Second action, open it. Die.
I mean,
Yes.
our best option would be to delay until the next zombie opens the door.
Yeah, I'm just gonna delay.
Makes sense. Mattis, are you also gonna delay?
I think so. Yeah, I'll do
Here's the best option. It's the option I'm not gonna do. I'm going to move the corpse out of the way just because I think we're about to have a
Yeah,
bunch of
like-
tokens pile up in one space.
Yeah, I've
These zombies
been
ain't
running that
smart.
long game.
He's
Oh,
moving
for
up and
sure.
opening the door. Ira, would you like to come back in at the end of this zombie's turn?
Yes.
Go
Absolutely.
ahead and
yeah.
proc that. And that brings us to your turn.
Okay. Ira will go ahead and exploit vulnerability.
Sounds good. Oh, you're putting the whole thing in chat.
Sorry, I gotta.
That's what the funny macro is for.
Going for mortal weakness.
Makes
As
sense.
Ira takes out like a little bit of healing potion and sprinkles it on
Mhm.
the blade, and then a throw.
And before you throw, what would you like to know with your recall knowledge diverse lore? It's a zombie.
Yeah, saves.
Sure. Taking a look at these things, you are fairly confident those fuckers slow as hell. Take advantage of that reflex save. And at the same time, the undead do have a bit of strengthening to them through the void energies that animate them, so fortitude is probably their best save.
Okay. Fleeing magic is reflex, but it doesn't deal a whole lot of damage.
These guys are injured. They took vitality damage already. But also
Okay.
just throwing a hatchet, I should have mentioned they would have lesser cover. Just from the positioning of things, there is a door in Suri in the way a bit, but that would be a hit either way. And big boy damage.
Well, does that implement the
You're already
Vulnerability?
triggering a weakness to slashing with the hatchet.
Oh, I can't. Right.
So
I
it
guess
does
I
not
can't.
double those up
Damn.
with exploit vulnerability, unfortunately. Had you thrown like a club at them, that
Yeah.
would have then triggered it.
Yeah, but it. Yeah. Okay.
But-
Then in that case, I will simply exploit, throw, and then pull out a throwing knife.
Sounds good. At the end of Ira's turn, Mattis, would you like to come back in or would you like to wait?
Yeah, I'll come back in.
Mattis, from the top ropes.
I'm going to do a quick measurement. I'm not
Yeah.
ready to actually say. I just need to see what their effect is. Damn
Uh-oh.
it! All right, bullshit. I can't get this one.
Were you thinking about a heal?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they are a bit out of the way, especially with where the walls are placed. Yeah, I think the energy would not quite reach them.
Well, that's unfortunate.
So I'd get the zombie directly in front and Veronica in the back, but that's it.
Okay. Well, our frontliner's down to half hit points, so I'm gonna do the 3 action anyways.
Sounds good. A little bit of healing in for Suri and some potential damage to the undead.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Which they both succeed on, so go ahead and roll that healing.
Dang it! Come on, big numbers.
Let's go!
Well, at least it'll trigger weakness.
At least it'll trigger weakness, which is going to be enough to obliterate this zombie directly in front of you.
Nice.
And notably, Veronica does seem to have weakness to it.
Excellent.
And Suri, you can go ahead and heal that 4 hit points. Phenomenal.
All right, It's my turn. I killed a zombie. Yeah.
Hey, guess what? We're going to move that token out of the way, because, zoop, the third one arrives.
Oh, no, now I can punch.
It can. I have a single action to punch Suri. I've got an idea of how well this is going to go, though. Not at all. Fantastic. God, I love zombies.
Zombies are great.
Which does bring us to Veronica's turn. And yeah, she is going to stride forward, reach up with one hand and rip one of the eyes in her head out.
Oh, cool.
Hold it up towards you all and just begin to squeeze it.
Oh,
Which
no.
that sort of black liquid that was leaking and looks like tear tracks. It's not coming from her tear ducts. It seems to be coming from the eyeballs themselves as she squeezes, and it sprays outwards in a lovely little cone.
Cool. I hate it.
Which is
Gross.
going to only hit this zombie, Suri and Mattis. If all of you could give me a fortitude save as this rain of black necrotic liquid washes over you.
I think this is worth a hero point.
I would likely agree. Fantastic.
Wow.
Oh, just barely still a
Wow.
failure, Mattis. I'm so sorry. As the liquid sprays onto your heads and begins to seep down around your eyes, burning into your flesh, Suri and the zombie that succeeded are both going to be dazzled here by it. Unfortunately, Mattis, with a failure, you become blinded.
Awesome.
But that does it entirely for her turn. Skulkstick, we're back over to you.
Same verse, same as the first. We're throwing a vitality bomb.
Fantastic. Let me give them cover real quick.
Yep.
Because you are indeed
my
throwing
eyes.
through some allies.
Yeah.
But hee-haw ghost charges.
We're re-rolling that.
Fantastic.
Thank God.
Much better. Unfortunately, your ally's in the way,
Oh,
preventing
I
it from
won.
critting.
God damn it.
This is why it's important to pay attention to cover. Lesser
Yeah,
cover
it's
exists
fine.
always.
Max
but
damage again. Fuck you, I guess.
that zombie is just dead. And of course, does splash into Veronica, heavily injuring her. Or at least injuring her. I believe you have two actions left.
Yes. We're going for the Hail Mary.
Okay.
Step and quick bomber again.
Actually, what I forgot to do, Skulkstick, since you are now in her aura, I do need a save from you real quick. A will save, please. As that same emotion begins to crush down on you.
How bad is the effect of a failure?
Good question. None of you know. No
Fair.
one has failed thus far.
Fine, fuck it. We'll take the failure.
Hey ho!
I'm assuming it's frightened.
It is not actually.
Oh.
A deep weight settles on your shoulder, something you have not felt in years because you haven't had the opportunity to. It is a distinctive feeling of isolation.
Oh.
The feeling of being abandoned, which is such a strange feeling to experience when you have people you are directly fighting with next to you.
Yeah.
But yet you feel it all the same. You no longer grant flanking, and you cannot aid your allies.
Sweet. Things I wasn't doing anyway.
Right. A very fun little aura here. That's that
cool,
failure
actually.
effect.
That's
Yeah.
really creative.
The critical
I
failure is
love
pretty
that.
fun also.
Oh, God.
It's just that, but if you aren't
Let's
adjacent
fucking
to an ally...
go!
Let's go, Skulkstick!
What's going on? I can't
Big
see.
roll.
And
And
lowest
bad
damage possible.
damage. but she still takes it, and the enfeebled is pretty huge.
Yes.
Fantastic. A Hail Mary bomb thrown over the heads of your friends, just barely skirting through the door frame without slamming into Suri, manages to catch Veronica directly in the face. Glass
I like
shards.
the idea that I just bowling balled it between everyone's legs and it hit a rock and just fucking bounced up and hit her.
Even better.
Try to kiss her.
As it bounces up, slams into her face and the glass shatters. You see, shards of glass stuck in her face, reflecting with the light provided by Mattis, that same black liquid, creating an almost beautiful image for a moment in the reflections. But, Suri, that is going to bring us over to you. You are, of course, dazzled, but nothing stopping you from going and killing.
Yeah. Suri is gonna basically pounce on her, so she's gonna step, and then she'll try to trip her.
Okay, fantastic.
Let me find the right button. There it is.
It's also in the basic action macros. You do not have
of
to
course.
use it from your character sheet for just a funny little thing.
I think I have a hero point left.
I believe you do.
There
Which is
we go.
absolutely going to turn it into a success. I do need that dazzled check from you, though.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And I should have had you roll that before the hero point, but it's all good.
Yeah.
So that will successfully knock her down to the ground. Uh-oh. That's not good. Uh-oh.
What?
Don't worry, there's no fighters.
I feel like I'm in danger.
Oh, you might be. Well, and then Suri basically just stomps on her head with her
That's
final attack.
very rude. Go
I
for
know,
it.
but she's mad. Here we go.
That
17.
will hopefully hit. I do need the dazzled check, please.
Yes.
Oh,
Oh.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
As you stomp down into the stone, she just barely manages to sort of roll out of the way and dodge the incoming blow. Which, funny enough, prevents her from using a funny reaction she has. So, we both lost in this situation. Ira, that will bring us to your turn.
Okay, cool. Ira will go ahead and I think probably start with a fling magic.
Sure. I do think from here you probably don't actually have sight on her.
Okay.
Considering the door has been pushed open and the walls definitely come out a bit further, I don't think you realistically have a good line of sight from there.
Then Ira will simply come over here and do an overcharge fling magic.
Fantastic. Which is 2 actions, I believe, asking for a reflex save that'll deal increased damage.
And with the breath, fuck off! Oh, fuck off!
Ouch. Hey, the good news is she fails this. So she does take the damage. Bad news is, she's not the same type of creature as the zombies, so there's no mortal weakness being triggered.
Yeah. Well, fling magic isn't a strike anyway.
That
so
is fair, but still. All right. I believe that does it for your turn, Mattis. Over to you. You are unfortunately a bit blind.
I don't know what's going on. I heard bodies hit the floor. We must be losing. I'm gonna do nurse reaction. I'm gonna do nurse reaction.
Classic 3-action heal. Fantastic.
Wait.
So more healing for Suri, but unfortunately a natural 20 save from Veronica here. It's Drift Crisis all over again, baby. Let's do this. That 20ing my saves.
Oh my god.
Well, at least Suri got some health.
At least she gets some health back. And
You.
as we come to the top of the round, your eyes finally manage to clear.
Oh, we're winning.
Both you
Excellent.
and Suri are able to see just fine once more. Veronica
Thank you, Ayomade.
is absolutely going to stand up with her first action. Do you have a reaction that triggered on this, Suri? I don't think so.
No.
Okay, fantastic. Just got to make sure. Sometimes people have something weird. So as she stands up, she is going to look at you, a flash of recognition in her eyes, and she is going to reach forward and try and grab and crush your throat.
Oh.
Which I believe a 27 will hit. Let's check the dazzle.
Oh, that
It is
enfeebled didn't. That enfeebled didn't crit.
enfeebled, preventing the crit, which is going to be
Damn.
huge, because her hands deal a whole lot of damage.
Let's fucking go.
That's 11 points of bludgeoning.
Hey, that's a
Jesus.
It is a D10 plus 3 bludgeoning on her hands. This zombie's got hands. I don't know what to tell you. But, of course, as I said, she's going to try and wrap and crush your throat, so she is going to use her final action to try and grab you.
What? Did she has 3 actions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She only looks like a zombie. She's not an actual zombie.
You'll notice she only has dazzled and enfeebled on her right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
So
right. She's not float. Yeah.
she is going to get the successful grab on you, which really doesn't do much in all honesty.
Right.
But, hey ho, it's Skulkstick's turn. She is no longer enfeebled
Alright.
at this point.
We're gonna try and change that.
Are you attacking from where you are? Go ahead
Yeah,
and
I got the cover. Yeah.
Put that cover back on her. What fun.
Yup. Fuck.
Oh, goodness. Final hero point going into the bomb. Turns into another hit.
God damn it.
Unfortunately, the damage finally beginning to fall off. Still triggering weakness, thankfully, and still getting enfeebled back on
Yeah.
her. But
Yeah,
not
that's the
nearly as much as
important
it
part
could have
here.
been.
Triggering that weakness.
That's fair.
Next action, I'm going to versatile vial onto Suri. There's no attack for this. I just swing at
Correct. You
them,
just
right?
you use an action to throw it at them. And we did say specifically for your versatile vials, you can
And then what's the healing on this again?
It is. I have to remind myself, actually, did you heal? I believe you healed Suri with one last session in the
I
fight against.
did. I just don't remember for how much.
It's, I believe, only a D4 or D6. I'm trying to recall. I don't
I think it's
it's
whatever
actually.
the damage of. Is it whatever the damage of the vials?
It
are?
specifically says it should be. So, like, versatile vial, it's 1d6. If we're being real technical, I believe we spoke about this. It hasn't been a full 10 minutes since that fight earlier. Wild, right?
Gotcha.
Which would mean that your
coagulant.
the coagulant trait actually comes into play for once, and this would not work. However, as we also talked about, I hate the coagulant trait and think it's dumb. So by all means, throw away.
Okay.
Fuck
Well,
the
this is my last
coagulant
versatile-
trait.
This is my last vial. So, I think it's just roll damage, yeah?
If you open the versatile vial in your inventory, there is a little button for using it as healing.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Fun thing to also
God
keep in
damn
mind,
it.
you can quick alchemy just a versatile vial into existence.
Yeah.
That is going to be one more health back to you, Suri. Actually, scratch that. Take that one health away. Skulkstick, re-roll that for me.
Okay.
I do have it that if it is 1d6 or 1d8 healing from an
Right.
item, I allow it to re-roll ones. Because I know it feels really bad to just get a 1 on an item usage.
Right, I do remember
So,
you said that.
yes.
I forgot about that.
I think that's directly listed in my homebrew rules.
And the-
I've never had someone play Chirurgeon, so it's not really meant to do unlimited resources. But again, fuck it. Who cares?
Yeah. Okay, well, that is that.
Fantastic. Anything else you'd like to do?
I attacked. I did that. Oh, actually, we finally actually have a use for this. I'm gonna goblin song them. Because they prepared actions means they're not mindless.
They are not mindless, no.
I'm gonna goblin song.
Okay.
Let's try it. Oh,
That is an exact
Let's go.
success.
okay. So
Uh,
perception and will saves.
I
are
love that Goblin
around.
Song is just effectively Bon Mo,
Yeah,
but slightly
As-
different. It's performance weaker Bon Mo.
It's basically just Skulk starts like scream singing in an attempt to get everyone also to just run further away so that they don't risk seeing.
Yes, good.
Who
Draw
you-
more undead to your location. Fantastic.
I mean,
All that being said, Suri, you've got the zombie's hand wrapped around your throat, but their
Yeah.
body's falling apart in front of you as well.
Yeah, she's like seriously is choking and is feeling around for something to hold on to on that like leathery, rotten body of hers.
Hmm.
And he's gonna try to essentially punch, for lack
Yeah.
of a better term.
For lack of a better term, punch. Oh,
Yeah, first one misses, second one. Rolling crap. Last
trying
one.
to help. Maybe her arm is just a bit too extended. She is keeping just barely out of your arm's reach as you are swinging. Even
Yeah.
the small impacts on the arm holding you, she doesn't seem to be responding to her feeling. So unfortunately, no success for you on your turn. That is going to bring us back to Ira at the top, not the top of the round. Just Ira.
Ira is gonna sigh and just be like, "Oh my goodness, please," and we'll just do a regular flame magic.
Okay, fantastic. Huzzah. Please give me my button, thank you. I am a goddamn god at rolling nat 20s on saves.
I'm gonna murder you. Okay.
I don't
well
blame
then,
you.
Here's a fucking throwing knife. She's gonna have cover. Please put it.
Oh, yes, throwing knife. I just took the cover off. What are you doing? Miraculously a hit.
Yeah, just weave it between everybody. Let me.
Follow the skulk mentality of just throw it under everyone's legs.
Okay. That is.
It did not. Interesting. It didn't seem like it calculated the range penalty into that throw either.
Oh shit. Would that still be a hit?
It would have still been a hit, yeah.
Okay.
I was just realizing because it's only 20-foot range increment. I know that very well these days. And so she is 25 feet away from you.
Yeah.
Implements empowerment, I believe you do still get.
Yes, I should have gotten it on the hatchet hit, which probably.
Ah.
killed it.
you did. If I remember correct, I think it's shit showed up.
We'll check later. But 6 points of piercing damage is absolutely going to hurt her. Doesn't resist at all. She takes it.
Oh my fucking god!
She's still
Madden,
standing, though.
please.
Mattis, one more for the history books. What you got for
She's
us?
still a Vitality Lash.
He's gonna fucking nat 20 it again. I swear on my life.
Hey ho,
I
no.
shouldn't say that. I'm gonna.
Just a regular success. Mattis, what does your Vitality Lash look like as it finally ends Veronica Blightender?
I focus on my holy symbol. I call upon Naomade to wreathe me in divine light and flames, and I push out that energy out towards her, and it wreathes her body and burns it. and destroys her with that holy radiant power.
Fantastic. As the fire once more burns her, that white divine flame that's gotten so much use in the last 10 minutes than in the last 6 years you've been here. As she is raised up into the air and burning, you hear choking out, Marco!
Oh no.
And then the flame consumes her. And you all have a moment here to take stock. But things are certainly not looking good. There is a hole in the wall that Undead have seemingly found a way to get into here through. You've gotten some people to listen to you, but not everyone necessarily will. It's late. People are tired, but none of you know how safe it is to remain down here anymore.
Yeah,
Suri is
compromised.
Jericho.
Let's have Suri go first real quick.
Yeah.
Suri's still having a hard time breathing, and she just gasps for air. She goes, "We got it. We gotta go now."
You're injured.
Yes, but we need to leave. Who knows? They've breached the. We need to disappear from here.
Is this something we could talk about next session, since we are kind of like...
Yes, I was letting people do this last little bit, and we are ending session here for tonight. I know it is quite late for many people.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you, Jericho,
Mhm.
on these like tombs over here, is there like a stone covering them, or are they just empty coffins?
Which ones in particular?
Like this, like these
Those
ones
ones?
down here.
Most every coffin has a cover.
Are they heavy?
Yes. You could probably lift one, but they are quite heavy.
I was gonna say, if we can grab one of them to basically block the door.
We will save
where
that
the
for
hole
next
is.
week.
Okay, sounds good.
Keep the ideas in your head. Don't forget them. You have homework. Think on this for a week. But thank you all so much for playing.
Yes,
I do
and thank you for having us.
hope you are
Thank you very much,
enjoying this so
Mr.
far.
Yeah, it's fun.
Things are only going to get worse from here, let me tell you.
Woo.
And
Looking forward to it.
I'll see you all next week.
All right.
Have a good
Bye.
one.
Thank you so much.